FM and HD Plus 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
At long last, the Bruins season will come to an end tonight at TD Garden. Game 82 is against New Jersey. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers will bring it to you one final time here on 98.5 The Sports Hub with the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7. The Bruins yesterday also called up defenseman Frederic Brunet and forward John Farinacci yesterday. Both are expected to make their NHL debuts tonight. Sportsnet in Canada is also reporting what team ownership seemed to make clear a few weeks ago. The team president Cam Neely and GM Don Sweeney will be back next season. Celtics are going to find out tonight who their first-round playoff opponent will be. Atlanta will visit Orlando with the winner coming to TD Garden on Sunday. Out west, the 7-8 play-in game has Golden State going to Memphis with the winner getting Houston. Former Patriots tight end Don Hasselbeck died yesterday at the age of 70. He was a second-round draft pick by the team in 1977, played 6 years here, and then won a Super Bowl with the LA Raiders in 1983. A bad week of Red Sox baseball continued last night in Tampa, Florida. They got run over by the Rays 16-1. Tampa scored 9 runs in the bottom of the third inning to end all the suspense for the night. Tanner Houck allowed 11 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings of work. There wasn't much for Alex Cora to say afterwards.
It seems like there was a team that was prepared for the other one, and the other one wasn't prepared for them, and that goes from top all the way to the bottom. That wasn't a good night for us. I'll take the blame, because it seemed like our team wasn't ready to go.
The Sox have lost 6 out of 8. They continue their 3-game series with the Rays tonight. And Aaron Judge has decided to play in next year's World Baseball Classic for Team USA, and yesterday he was named the captain. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
Hit somebody. We've got a passion for Boston sports. Get angry. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
When has that been necessary to fact check?
And Hardy.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
On 98.5. No! Hello.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT booting up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that.
Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
It's Toucher and Hardy. Fred will be joining us a little bit later this morning. Hardy and Wallach here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Have we talked about who's coming on the show today? Have we even mentioned this, at all?
Well,
I guess maybe not, because there's always a chance it doesn't happen.
No, we have not.
Well, first of all, my lunch date from the other day. Bird will be here a little bit later because he wants to be here when none other than Mercedes Mone joins us in the studio. What do you know about Mercedes Mone, Wallach?
I know she's a wrestler. She's AEW, right? She's not WWE. And they have a show at Big Night Live, correct? No, not Big Night Live. Right next to Fenway Park.
Whatever you're saying, I need
MGM
you.
Musical.
Yeah, thank you. MGM Musical.
Whatever you're saying, I need you to write it all down for me and then shove it in front of me.
You told me before the show you weren't exactly ready for this.
No.
Okay.
No. But,
With Bird here and Fred here, I think you'll be okay.
Good.
Now,
I might go take a powder.
the thing to watch with Bird, and you've seen part of it, but you haven't seen the full Bird boat, is he looks like the evil guy from Captain America when he gets embarrassed. Red Skull. That his head will turn bright red all the way around when he gets embarrassed.
You still watch all the superhero movies?
I watched a lot of Avengers movies, sure.
I don't get it. And here's what pisses me off about him is you can't watch anything anymore without watching 10 movies leading up to it.
Okay, that's fair.
I tried to look at the new one of the latest Spider-Man movies,
Yep.
The kid wanted to see the Spiderman. I'm like, all right.
No Way Home, you see that one?
Okay, so
Yeah, I watched that with my nieces and nephews. Yes.
Is that the latest of the home ones? Almost Home, No Way Home.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
They had
go
like
home.
3 different Spider-Men in that movie. They had Tobey Maguire.
Well, one of them started. One of the Spider-Man movies that we tried to watch started with a battle with like Captain America and Incredible Hulk and something else going on.
He's part of the Avengers, Spider-Man.
Can I just watch a Spider-Man movie?
Nope.
No.
Oh, and by the way, you also need to sit through the credits and watch the little scenes that are after the credits,
end.
which sometimes have more information in that tiny little post-credit scene that you need to unlock the rest of the movies than the actual movie you just watched.
All right, the origin movies are fine. Like to me, like the last superhero movie I really enjoyed, and this is, I'm old man yells at clown, whatever. I don't care. The first Iron Man movie.
Yep.
The Robert Downey
Loved
Jr.
it.
It's an origin story.
Yep.
And it's got one of those clips at the end where the guy explains the existence of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I was mildly intrigued.
William Hurt, right? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, but he's not the guy who's explaining what S.H.I.E.L.D. is. It's some other like smarmy little, like assistant who's talking with Pepper and with what's her name there?
Oh, I take it back. I'm confusing my superhero movies. Continue. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So it gives you a little snippet of what's next. And I think I watched Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
But after that, like I watched the first Captain America.
Yep.
And that was a little too much origin for my taste.
Yep.
Everybody lost their minds over Wonder Woman for, I think, various,
Never saw it.
let's just say, social reasons. And I think maybe some, not even political reasons, but it was like, all right, it's a woman's superhero for sure. But anybody who went to see that and was sweating it so much, I had a neighbor at the time who was telling me, and she took her daughter to see it. She's like, you have to see it. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I said, have you ever seen a superhero movie? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to see a movie about women empowerment, there are probably 50 other movies released in the last 20 years that are better than that one. So I don't know why you're choosing that to champion.
I stuck with just the Avengers movies. I did not see Wonder Woman is not part of that.
Didn't they make a second Wonder Woman movie too?
Yes, they
It was
did.
like 1984.
Right.
It was set in the 80s, and Kristen Wiig was the villain in it or something like that.
Yeah, they had a second Wonder Woman movie. Of course, I skipped that one too. So
But
I don't know.
They're all intersecting. And I'll tell you something else. This whole multiverse crap.
Yep.
You can shove it. Because why am I watching a story if there are no consequences for the characters? If you want me to invest at all emotionally. Yeah, I said it, John. Emotionally. In any of these fictional superheroes, you can't make it part of your rules in your movie that it doesn't matter what happens to them because it will just hop over to another verse. And whatever happens there has nothing to do with what's happening. Well, then what do I care? What do I care about what happens to this person in this place if you can just jump to another place and the consequences don't carry over? I don't care. Here's what you've left me with. I don't care. It was an interesting kernel of an idea that somebody had probably for one comic book once, and now they've taken it and used it as license to create all these movies with all these different plots and storylines, and I don't care about any of them.
I think you were talking about a comic book movie. One of my kids wanted to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was...
Is that the animated one?
Yes, and it was
actually... Oh, God, did I hate that. Well, I saw that in the theater.
Really?
Oh,
I thought that was well done.
I was
You
so
didn't
pissed when I left that thing.
Okay.
And to the point where my son was asking me to like keep my voice down so I didn't ruin it for the other people walking out of the theater.
See that.
I'm like, what a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Of course it's well done. Of course it's, the editing and the production and all the technical aspects of it. But at the end of the day, what I want is, can you tell me a story? Mm-hmm. Tell me a story. No, we're going to tell you 50 stories. Yeah. Okay, well, if you're telling me 50 stories, I guess none of them are good enough to stand alone on their own. That's what I think. So I got no patience for any of that. So when you tell me that Bird turns red like the villain in Captain America, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I watched the first one maybe not even once. I'm like, I don't care.
That guy makes a comeback during the last Avengers movie too. The final one.
So you got all these heroes, they're all fighting together. Do any of them ever turn a heel?
No, they don't turn heel.
So this sucks.
There's good and there's bad.
Right.
There's an electrified fence. No one hops over.
And ne'er the twain shall meet.
Nope.
I feel like John's going to be stuck in this loop for a few more years. With your kids are a little bit younger, nieces and nephews you have as well.
Yep.
Hardy, you're about to come out of it because your youngest is probably getting to the point where he's not caring much about it. My kids have reached that point now where I don't have to sit through. And it's a shame because I was a comic book collector as a kid. I like this nerdy type stuff. I liked when they first started making these movies in like the early 2000s. I would watch all of them. And now it's too much to keep track of. It's the same with like the Star Wars stuff. Like it's too much. You got to back off on it a little bit.
There were 22 movies leading to that last one.
20?
Yeah, well, I know this because we had Pasta Joe, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Go to Revere and sit through all of them
That's
over
right.
a 2-day period.
That was good. Good pull on that, John.
So
I'd
yes,
forgotten about
Pasta
that.
Joe agreed because it was free. He would go and sit through all of them back to back to back to back to back.
Has anyone seen the Black Bag movie? Anyone looked at that?
Oh,
one?
you would. Is that on? Is that in theaters, Hardy, or is that streaming? It's in theaters, right?
I think it's in theaters.
Was it you or Fred last week who was talking about how that's a good one?
I don't know. It's supposed to be good. It's Kate Blanchett,
Yeah.
who I like,
Oh, you do.
because she's not too fancy.
That was going to say that's in Hardy's wheelhouse.
Michael Fassbender, and I think, Steven Soderbergh. So I'm pretty much in on that.
Yeah.
And and I think it's short. It is 94 minutes.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
And I was thinking yesterday, it's funny, because there's one or two other things that I wanted to do, and I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, now the weather's turning. And one of the things I wanted to get out to the movies and see this while it was in the theaters, but I hate going to the movies when it's nice outside. At least early in the spring.
And it was a nice fake
summertime,
spring
whatever.
yesterday.
Yep.
So yesterday I'm like, I missed my window to go sit in a movie theater when it's crappy outside. And then I came out this morning, warm, yes, but I think it's going to be crappy.
Yes.
Were you outside at all yesterday?
Yes.
Beyond driving back and forth to work.
I was
Yeah,
too,
it was beautiful.
I think I stood outside just, with the neighbors. One family down the street, they're got other plans for Easter, so they had their Easter egg hunt for their kids and some other neighborhood kids yesterday. All the dogs were out. We had a big doggy impromptu play date at about 5:30 yesterday. I think I just stood outside doing nothing in particular for 2 hours.
You are just living in Pleasantville, aren't you?
All right.
William H. Macy over here.
Yeah, right up until one of the kids takes the egg from the other one, and there's then there's a bloody fist fight going on.
Yeah.
And the dog craps in front of someone else's front door. It's not Norman Rockwell.
Okay.
No, there's enough comedy and enough mishaps to make it less than picture perfect. My point is just this. Everybody just wanted to be standing outside
It's nice
yesterday.
to be
Because
outside.
it felt like I got your sunglasses out for the first time in a month.
Were you talking with your neighbors, or you had to you were looking at your phones, letting your dog play? What? Because I want to know what the subject matter of the conversation was. Were you talking about power lines? Were you talking about garbage pickup? What were we talking about?
Well, a lot about the Masters.
Uh-huh.
What else were we talking about? Oh, colleges.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about that.
Yep.
And I don't know, a few other things. Whatever. I don't know. But there were just long stretches of talking about absolutely nothing because everyone just wanted to be standing outside.
I understand. I do. It's one of those days where you feel like you've suffered enough, and yesterday was kind of like a glimpse into the future type of thing.
But I did get caught up, and I think part of that warm weather, everyone loses their minds and wants to be doing something outside, because yesterday, after I left here, and I had to go to the dentist, and then I got home, and it's 1 o'clock by the time I get home.
You went and hit balls, didn't you?
No.
Oh.
My mother, who was flying back home yesterday, she had a flight at 3:30. Okay.
Boy. Yeah.
And yesterday, from my house to the airport, I checked it on the map. It was 34 minutes, which ended up being even like a minute or two less than that.
Okay.
And my mother is standing at the front door when I get home and pulling the driveway at 1 o'clock for her 3:30 flight. Okay. 1 p.m. She's nervous.
Yep.
I'm like, Mom, you've got. I don't even think she has TSA pre-check. I think she has global entry. She's got the clear. Yeah, she's got like whatever, and as well she should. She's 81 years old. And I don't think she ever even had a traffic ticket in her life. If anyone should be allowed to walk on board an airplane, no questions asked, it's, an 81-year-old woman who's, never had an ounce of trouble with the law. The only thing that she ever had maybe on her record was a bench warrant for her arrest for parking tickets because the car that I was driving in college, the insurance was...
Wait a minute.
No, the registration was in both our names.
Wait a minute now. So you ran up a ton of parking tickets.
Bench warrant was
and there was
issued
a
for
bench
her
warrant
arrest
was issued
in Troy, Michigan.
And you were where?
East Lansing.
Okay. Was she aware that you would run up all these parking tickets?
Yes.
And
How did she find out?
The bench warrant wasn't a surprise?
Because it showed up in the mail.
Yeah.
And every time I see my daughter exhibiting this behavior, she's just like me. It drives me nuts.
Yep.
She'll do things like this. And what my daughter would say to me now is exactly what I said to my mother back then. I laughed and said, don't worry about it. What do you care? They're not going to arrest you. Now, I'm thinking, oh, my God, if a bench warrant showed up for my arrest because of something my daughter would do, I would lose my mind.
You would lose your mind.
I did
your mother
exact...
lose her mind on you?
It's as much as a mom can. She's a very nice woman.
What I'm saying is there's nice and then an arrest warrant showing up in the mail.
She's more of a quiet worrier.
I see.
I'm a loud worrier.
I got it.
Okay. Anyway, so she's standing at the front door when I get home yesterday. For 3:30 flight. It's 1 o'clock. If we don't leave, we're not going to be there 2 hours ahead of time. Why would you need to be for a domestic flight for a borderline puddle jumper from here down to, Raleigh, Durham? It's no big deal. There's 5 of these flights a day on 3 different carriers. You're going to be fine. And I didn't push it. I went inside, grabbed a banana because I hadn't eaten a morsel all day. Like, let's go. All right. Zip to the airport. And I'm looking at the traffic on 93 South on our way there. I'm like, oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. And I'm thinking to myself, as long as I get her there and I am through the city and through the tunnels and everything before 2 o'clock, I'll be fine. Because, that's the magic cutoff point.
Right.
As soon as I got out of the tunnel, parking lot.
Ugh.
And everybody was thinking the same thing yesterday. It's so sunny outside. I was, whatever. I'm just blowing off work the rest of the day, and I'm going home. I'm going, and everybody was going the same direction.
There's no shortcut. There's no way around it. There's no side street you can take.
No, because I'm sure it was the same in every direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll head out west and loop around 128 and get back that way. No, there was no doing that yesterday either. It was an hour.
Okay.
33 minutes there, an hour coming back.
Brutal.
And that kills the rest of your day. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
You can get home to what, 3:30, right?
It was a little after 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. But anyway, everyone lost their minds yesterday. Why? Because the sun was out.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Fake spring.
Around here? Yeah, in April.
Hope
Sure.
you enjoyed it. Enjoyed the 60-degree temperatures today because tomorrow, high of 49.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it back to that tomorrow?
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Oh.
Everyone loves spring in New England. I hate spring in New England.
You know what? Friday's the only day I really care about.
But it's going to rain on Friday.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not according to my phone, and my phone is never wrong.
A lot can happen between now and Friday, too,
Yeah.
John,
That's a good point.
weather-wise.
Who said it's going to rain on Friday?
I thought I saw on the weather there, the weather experts that we have on our monitors here. Maybe it's Saturday. It's going to rain. It's going to rain one of those 2 days.
I don't. All I care about is Friday, and it looks like it's going to be
All right.
What's Friday?
Okay. First 18 holes of the season.
Oh, the club's open.
There we go.
Club is
Let's
open.
go. Let's go.
Nice.
By the way, Chris Forsberg will be joining me on the first edition of the Sports Hub Golf Club.
It's this weekend.
Lovely.
Yep. this
Yeah.
week. So that'll be
Is
fun.
he your co-host the entire time, or he gets a segment?
Oh, he's in. I told him, I said, careful what you wish for, buddy, because I'm not doing any more of these, 8-minute chin wags. If we're gonna do a show, let's do a show.
Is he aware he's not getting compensated for this?
I'm not sure. I want to say yes, but I don't.
Maybe you follow up with him on Wednesday,
Or don't.
or don't.
Here, Chris. Here's
Let
a
it go.
hat.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring it up unless he asks.
Okay.
All right. Good news. Freddie T is here, so he will join us when we find out what happened last night, and we will do that next here on Toucher and Hardy.
More Toucher.
legacy. You are an all-time choker moving forward. That's it. That's what Rory's remembered as.
Zolak and Bertrand. Weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. And I am indeed. Good morning. What is going down in the streets? Did you say Mercedes Mone is coming in today, who I have no idea anything about?
Yes, we did. We talked about how Bird was going to be here, and his head is going to be bright red when he interviews her. Should be good.
Yeah, we should I think maybe we let Bird take the handles on that.
Yeah.
And the excuse to her is, hey, like, none of us follow wrestling. This guy's a big wrestling fan.
Sure.
Got to bring in an expert. You know?
He'll be fine. He'll be good. He'll be like Bill Maher in here, just conducting a panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Doing a lot of the talking himself, but, involving other people in the room.
It's always good to work with a professional.
Exactly. No,
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR.
Red Sox coming off a weekend series in Chicago where they avoided the sweep with a win on Sunday, so they open up a new set in Tampa against the Rays. Things didn't start great.
First pitch swung on and a shot. Well tagged deep left center. Duran back and it is gone. Home run, Yandy Diaz. First pitch.
Do you want to talk a little bit longer in my ear? 12. The sound is over, and 12 is in there reading War and Peace to me through my headset.
Now again. This
was it applicable to the show, or
Yes.
was it just okay?
I don't even know what he said. Something about Nesson.
This audio is not from Nesson because Nesson was having technical difficulties.
Oh,
They had
good.
Mike's cutting out just again another
was
one
good.
of those games, if you will.
Where they had there was a game over the weekend against Toronto. Big period of the game. George Springer's at the plate, winning runs on second base, and all of a sudden there's a 45-second car commercial.
You know what?
In the middle of it.
There's too many channels. At some point, it's got to affect the overall bandwidth of the providers and stuff. There's just too much crap. I don't even know if it's Nesson's fault or anyone's fault when that happens.
I'm thinking it's Nesson's fault.
By the way, I was at the hardware store on Sunday.
What?
Woo!
Private one, like not a
Like a locally owned, like an
locally
Ace,
owned.
a True Value.
Wow.
No, not
There you
even
go.
smaller.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at you.
And guess what was on the television, and the guy was actively watching it. The Beverly Hillbillies. And it wasn't on tape. He was watching that Me TV.
oh yeah.
And he couldn't keep his eyes off of it. It had the audio on, and he was the youngest guy that was working at the store.
How does that show hold up? You watched it probably for at least 30 seconds or so.
Someone was, as you might imagine, arriving to take Ellie Mae on a date.
Okay.
And he looked a lot like the pervert that played Jethro. As you know, he was a huge pervert, along with the guy from Hogan's Heroes. They would many illicit videos of them. Very involved in the adult industry.
Yep.
And but it wasn't him, and it wasn't Ellie Mae. It was the lady from the bank. And he was like, I knew, Doug told me she was a dish, but I don't know what dish or what. And then she's like posing, and they're like, what an ugly broad.
Oh.
You stupid ugly lady. Too ugly for me, is what they
bad.
said.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
So it holds up.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd watch it.
You could do that now.
All right. So the Rays strike first, jump out to a 5-0 lead, but Christian Campbell to the rescue.
Campbell. It's a hot.
Ooh, get me the peanuts and Cracker Jacks and a souvenir. Soup. Campbell's.
Backing up Morel and kissing goodbye.
Oh, who's better, Liechtenstein or Warhol? I'll take both and the ball.
Well, what a nice
Pop art, it popped off the bat.
way to reach in your 17th consecutive Major League game. That's all of them for the kid.
I don't know what he's talking about, but there we go. 5-1.
The seventh major league game, and he was certainly not his seventh home run, so I don't know what he was talking about either.
He's been on base. Been on base in every game he's played in. That's what that was.
Well, that's exciting.
5-1 in the third. Let's go to
the bottom part of that inning.
Oh, okay. I mean, you know what? I thought I was jumping ahead. Actually, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No.
No, you're not.
5-1. Things were very in reach at 5-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just listen to this.
Fly ball, right center field. That has carry, and that ball's going to get out.
He sent that to Venus. Mone's Venus.
Right center, off the bat of Junior Caminero. And he hits another one out tonight.
Okay.
Junior hit one in the senior league.
So just to keep things in check here, that was actually the fifth inning. By the end of the third, the Rays were up 14-1.
Yeah. Quick little 9 spot.
Tanner Houck not so good last night.
It's
9-run third inning.
It's funny too because it was, and I was telling the guys before the show, I just happened to be in front of the TV when this was happening. It was single. Bregman kicked a double play ball at third.
Single, John. What is Tampa Bay doing? You can't score runs like that. You got to have your flight path. You got to strike out or hit home runs.
Sounds like they're trying to hit line drives for base hits.
I mean, what are you gonna? They would have put up 23 if they would have followed the right plan.
That's right,
idiots, stupid idiots.
Hey.
I really believe it, man. I really think I know more.
Hey,
go ahead.
They only struck out 14 more times last night, the Red Sox.
Yeah,
so.
but they had the home run, John.
They did. They had the one
home run.
But I felt sorry for Houck because they weren't, hitting balls into the gap and off the wall. There were a bunch of singles in there, and you had Bregman kick a double play grounder at third, and then a guy hit a ball up the middle right at Trevor Story, who put his glove out and missed it, and the ball went into center field, and 2 more runs scored. It wasn't an error. But
it was a play he should have made.
It was a play he should have made. There was another one in the backhand that he took off the heel of his glove.
I have a
what
question.
What was the exit velocity of that ball?
Good question.
So if the team's not hitting home runs and striking out, that's not on Cora. I got news for you. That's not his job. His job is not to do that. His job is not to teach them to hit.
Yep.
And in that. It's just not. Whose job it is, and we talked about this yesterday because it's fascinating to me, are the guys who employ the dickhead that told Jim Rice to get out of the batter's box. So what I am curious is, because this is awful what's going on. They're striking out at an unbelievable rate, and you can live with that if you're hitting home runs, if that's the way you want to operate. They're not hitting home runs. So they're not hitting home runs. They're in the bottom third of the league in home runs. So they're not hitting home runs. Do you, at mid-season? I mean, you can't really because that's the way you've been operating. But they have to fire. They have to get rid of this analytics team or this swing team, Driveline Athletics that they brought in. They have to. They have to. I mean, because if Devers finishes the season with 19, 20 home runs. Yep. Bregman finishes the season with 20, 21 home runs. That's not. I need that to stop.
Devers struck out twice last night. Bregman struck out twice. Abreu, who's cleanup now, struck out 3 times. The Sox had 1 at bat all night with a runner in scoring position. That doesn't count the Campbell homer.
And I don't like going by short. The season's very, very long. You're 18. This is the really soft part of your schedule. I mean, these are I will say this: White Sox, Tampa Bay White Sox is where you should be able to make a little space. So when you do play good teams and you do slump, that's when you can pick up some. That's when you can afford to because you're kind of ahead in the game. If you're 500. Even if you're 500 at the All-Star break, I'm not panicking. It's not ideal, but I'm not saying, oh, it's over. But if this is the first third of your season, I know they're not a third of the way through the season, but they're playing garbage teams. St. Louis sucks. They played a lot of bad teams. And if you're not at that point a third of the way through the season with a winning record, I don't know when you're going to pick up that slack.
The sad part about all of this is, and this is separate from the conversation we had yesterday, no one in the division is playing well. All it would take would be one surge to get you that cushion in front of everybody else. I mean, if they were taking care of business here, they'd be in first place by 3-4 games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way of saying that, this is in any way okay because it's so early in the season for the reasons you just said, Fred. The bad teams you got to beat up on, and the cliche holds true. The games that you win in April are the ones you don't have to win in August and September, and these should all be the series that you win and occasionally sweep. Instead, you're getting beat. Let's hear the final call here.
And there's a shot back into deep left center, and that's going to be caught. Meisner got over there, makes the catch in left center field.
They matched the franchise record, the largest margin of victory in the history of the franchise. It's the third time they've done it.
Rays blast the Red Sox, who had nothing going at all.
Okay, so the Yankees are in first place.
16-1.
And the Yankees, at the trade deadline will go nuts if they're at all involved. But listen, their season, the Brewers are not a bad team, but they killed them. Then they played the Diamondbacks, who are not horrible, but then they played the Pirates, who are bad. But listen to the last two series. They played the Tigers, the Giants, now they're playing the Royals. Like, a little bit different than the White Sox, Tampa Bay White Sox. Like, I mean, San Francisco's got the second best record in baseball. The Tigers are the number one team in the Central. I mean, they're playing better teams. It's just you are such a weak part of your schedule. It really, I don't know. I'm finding myself very, very frustrated at this Driveline place because they're so hell bent on how right they are, and if this continues, they're not right. And it's not every player on the team, right? There's losing games and playing poor defensively, but if everyone on the team underperforms in their power numbers, or almost everyone on the team underperforms with their power numbers, that's on you. That's not everyone on the team just half-assing it. And again, it's not Cora's job for them to hit home runs. Cora's job is to put him in positions to win, but he's not the hitting coach. He's not the guy who devised the whole modus operandi of how they're supposed to operate. I'm sure Cora's perfectly fine having Jim Rice around in spring training. I don't know.
No, it's
the results do not justify the arrogance. That we can agree on.
Of course not. Of course not. And that kid, Christian Campbell, if you look at the lineup, he was second in that lineup in slugging percentage. This is a second baseman who is hitting sixth or seventh every night.
Yeah, how old is Tristan Campbell?
Christian Campbell is 22.
Yeah, right.
Going to be 23 in June.
Right. So maybe they'll point to him and they'll go, he's been in this. He's only been with us. So look at how good he is. Boo.
Yeah.
All right. As we continue here, we'll find out who ended up going number one overall in the WNBA draft.
I know all about it because I had an hour and a half drive home. And it went diddling, diddling, what they. I'm not going to say who it was because I know it's a tease.
Yeah, I was going to shush.
Yeah, I know. but I'm in the car and it went
sellout crowd,
and it played the one they used for the NFL, and I'm like, ooh, they're going to talk about the NFL draft.
No.
Oh no.
No.
And they were talking, and Dallas had the first pick. I'm not giving anything away. I will not tell you who it was. I know the tease for the other end, Hardy. I'm letting you handle that. But this statement was made. Maybe now they can stop forgetting about the Luka trade.
Oh, Jesus. They did not say that.
They did, and the other person agreed.
Oh, my God.
Because the guy's daughter wanted season tickets. I guess he lives in Dallas.
Oh, my God.
Because they can't be bothered being in the same room, even though they're a national show.
I mean, do you think there are, personal incentive bonuses for all these people?
I don't know what the deal is. I know the ratings are decent. I mean, decent meaning under 1 million, but they're better than they're not like last year, but they're better than they had been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they're making ridiculous statements about things. As if Like, I understand the girl. I know who the girl is because of the national championship and everything. But like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. All right,
that and that other lesser draft, the NFL draft. Not a mock, an actual who is going to attend.
Yes,
and who isn't going to attend. And now, I know not as interesting as the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft, but we'll discuss both of those things next.
Yeah, and we've already discussed one guy that was giving you the draft that's very surprising because they want those guys taken in the first round. They don't want them sitting there for the drama. The NFL does not like that. That's a fact. All right, we'll be right back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins will wrap up their season tonight when they play New Jersey at TD Garden. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sportsnet in Canada also is reporting what everyone pretty much expected a few weeks ago. Team President Cam Neely and GM Don Sweeney will be back next season. Tampa Bay had a 14-1 lead after 3 innings last night. They coasted to a 16-1 win over the Red Sox yesterday. 2 teams to play again this evening. And in NBA news, the play-in rounds of the playoffs begin tonight. Orlando hosts Atlanta. The winner of that game will come to Boston to play the Celtics in game 1 of a best-of-7 on Sunday. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Freedom Boat Club. Don't buy a boat this summer. Join Freedom Boat Club on enjoy unlimited usage of boats at 21 prime locations from the North Shore to P-Town. Go to freedomboatclub.com today. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You know, these things normally go chalk, but you don't know until you know. And Paige Beckers was indeed selected first overall by the Dallas Wings last night in the WNBA draft.
Live and let thrive.
Sold out building last night.
Is that your own, or is that something you?
No, I made that up just now.
That's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Yeah, so I was listening again to the radio on my 7-hour drive back from the game. That's not why I was late today. Something else happened. No big deal, but I was out very late. But Paige Beckers, so they play the like from the draft, and I go, ooh, they're going to talk about the draft. This is interesting because they've been talking about Rory McIlroy for a long time, and I'm like, all right, we've already discussed that. I've had my 4-hour conversation about that.
Yes.
So I'm like, they're going to talk about the draft, and they're like, Paige Beckers went to UConn, and I'm like, okay, and then they start discussing it, and it's a man and a woman, and the woman's jumping up and down. She's very excited, and then the guy goes, the woman makes the statement, maybe this will make people start forgetting about the Luka trade because Paige Beckers is now in Dallas. And the guy said, absolutely, because I live in Dallas because, of course, they can't be even in the same state when they're doing the show on ESPN. He said, my daughter asked for season tickets, and he's like, can we just get a package first? So based on his daughter's interest in going to the games, he imagined that now the Luka trade will be an afterthought. That Paige Beckers is in town, who is a star. There's no question about it.
But
not maybe of the scale of a Luka Doncic.
Maybe not in the same the zeitgeist. But sure, if you're worried about basketball in Dallas, worry no more.
Yeah,
there's nothing to worry about. Paige Becker on the.
And if you're the GM of the Mavericks, I know you're in the play-in game. A lot of pressure off your shoulders today.
Yeah.
But
most eyes not on you. They're post-draft coverage, and everyone's following that now.
Yeah, but I am looking at the grades, and I think maybe a little harsh on the Golden State Valkyries. They took just Jakuizwe from Lithuania. At 5. And part of the difficulty with evaluating the Valkyries the draft is you don't know how the players are going to fit together because they haven't played a game as a franchise yet. Right. So to give them a C- seems really unfair to me.
Yeah, they haven't played a game as a franchise, and how much time they have to ramp up? 3-4 weeks. Yeah. We'll cobble something together here, and we'll go and have a team. We'll have uniforms and everything.
With uniforms and everything.
She's a Valkyrie.
Yep.
The other draft, when people say the draft, sometimes they're talking about this other NFL draft, which will be happening next week. And some of the people expected to attend, 17 are confirmed RSVPs. Yes,
okay.
I will be there.
Okay, so when Hardy gives these out, this is not BS. So the fact of the matter is this. I know this to be a fact because I've heard people who have been on the phone calls with the networks with the league. The league hates it. I know it's good drama, but they hate it when a kid's stuck in the green room, like past the first round.
Yeah.
Like they don't like that. So they've limited the amount of guys that they invite, and so you would think, because the league's involved in who gets invited. It's not just the network's choice. It's the players, the league, in the network. They believe there's at least a good shot that these guys will be taken in the first round.
Okay, so Cam Ward, yes, of course, believed by many to be the number 1 overall pick. Okay. There are other quarterbacks who will be in attendance. Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, okay, so Jalen Milroe is the one that's been getting everyone getting their antennas up because you see some drafts where he's going 3rd round. But if the league invited him, because remember, it's first round's Thursday, second round's not till Friday.
Right.
So that's interesting to me. And to a lot of people that cover the draft, I'm not one of them, but to people who cover the draft, That's a very interesting invite.
Last couple of mock drafts, Mel Kiper, whatnot, they have Jalen Milroe at the very top of the second round. So it's not a stretch to think that some team might sneak back into the bottom of the first to grab him.
Okay, Travis Hunter. Yes, he'll be there. Another receiver, Matthew Golden. Abdul Carter. Yes. Boise State running back, Ashton Genty. Yes. Will Campbell. Whether he goes at number 4 to the Patriots or 10th or 12th, highest ranked, and in one draft or one board I saw yesterday, the 12th overall player. Forget about linemen.
He's going in the first
He's going
round.
in the first round. Mason Graham, all going to be there. You know who will not be there, at least as of right now? Shedeur Sanders.
Was he invited? That's the thing.
We
If they
don't
invited
know.
him and he said no thanks, that's a different situation.
We don't know.
I would imagine they invited him, and I would guess that they invited him, but Dion wants to have the optics be under his control, so maybe he's throwing something at the University of Colorado or to help. I mean, he's good at that stuff.
Yeah, but Hunter's not going to be with him. That's the other thing.
Well, Hunter's on his own now. Shedeur's his kid, so maybe. If I was to guess what was going on, knowing his flair for marketing, which is a positive, Dion maybe wants the optics of this under his control.
I would think that is one of the primary reasons, but also, like you said, Fred, the NFL doesn't want to embarrass these kids. They want to highlight them. They are trying to build the next, jersey sellers of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if a kid's sitting there looking like a sad sack because, now we're 3 picks into the second round, and this kid who's everybody knows his name, and he was, talked about being second or third overall, is still sitting there. That's a bad look for the league. It's a bad look for him. That's not a feel-good story. So as of right now, Shedeur Sanders will not be attending the draft.
Yeah, so interesting. That Milroe thing is very interesting to me. I am interested to see. Because I told you, people are comparing his raw skills, not his size necessarily, but his raw skills. I heard Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and from the kid from Alabama that plays for
Hurts.
Yeah.
And they're saying, these guys came out not as fully formed prospects, but look at where they are now. He has that kind of athletic ability.
Alabama will have 3 players there. Both Georgia and Michigan have 2 players.
Alabama. All right. All right. We will be back in just a moment.
We have a whole collection of stories from that other basketball league. We spent not enough time probably talking about the draft from last night, but there are several things to get to from around the NBA. Some coaching changes going on, some problems with playoff tickets, and we've also got some updated merchandise and jersey sales numbers from around the NBA.
Very good. We'll have all that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher. NBA title starting this Sunday at the Garden.
Tatum pull up three.
Listen to every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. Easy FM and HD1 Boston. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins will play their 82nd and final game of the season tonight at TD Garden against New Jersey. Defenseman Frederic Brunet will make his NHL debut for the Bees after getting called up yesterday.
I mean, really excited, obviously. Getting the first call is always a great story to tell later, and just the feeling just a great feeling to get that call. I worked hard for it, and all goes to my parents, all my family, just to help me get there. The first call is always special, and it really was.
Forward John Farinacci also called up to play his first ever NHL game. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers will have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The play-in rounds of the NBA playoffs begin tonight. Orlando will host Atlanta, with the winner coming to TD Garden to play the Celtics on Sunday. Later tonight, it's Golden State at Memphis, with the winner getting Houston in round 1. Former Patriots tight end Don Hasselbeck died yesterday at the age of 70. He was a second-round draft pick in 1977 and played 6 years here. He was also the father of a pair of NFL quarterbacks, both Matt and Tim Hasselbeck. Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox 16-1 in the opener of a 3-game series down in Florida. Tanner Houck got 7 outs and allowed 11 earned runs in his start. And Aaron Judge was named the captain of Team USA for next year's World Baseball Classic. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenizer Home Services. For a limited time, Rodenizer is offering up to $2,000 off a new AC system with next-day installation, flexible financing, and rebates. Now's the time. Go to Rodenizer.com for your free estimate. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Sounds like boobs a poppin' twos. Yeah. Music getting into
NBA Jam?
Yeah, you go, John.
But I just see different, shots from the actress in the porno having sex, and then with the name, and then 3 guys' names at the end with no photos of them.
Right.
As if they're afterthoughts. They're performing too. All right, we're Toucher and Hardy, and you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. All right. What is going on, Hardy, in the world of the NBA? A lot is going on in the world of the NBA.
Well, we'll start with the Phoenix Suns. They have fired head coach Mike Budenholzer. The team announced yesterday they are not in the playoffs. They are not in the play-in tournament. And here we go. Shams Charania on the firing of coach Budenholzer.
From a grand perspective, it's about Devin Booker and where does he stand in all this. And I think that is very important, Malika. And from my understanding is he remains the foundation of everything they're doing in Phoenix. Everything else, though, has been up for discussion. Mike Budenholzer clearly had a disconnect with his entire roster.
So it wasn't just a disconnect with Durant or with Booker or with who's the other big 3 down there?
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal.
Well, you know what funny story about Bradley Beal is that he became very offended because Budenholzer told him he wanted him to play a Holiday, like a Drew Holiday role on the team, and Beal found that to be absolutely incredibly insulting. He did not like that at all, which is interesting because Holiday's better than Beal. I mean, Holiday's better than Beal, certainly now.
Yes.
And, Beal, he went, hey, I had this guy that helped us, was really important for us winning a championship.
Talk to me. I've won a title. That's the thing. He just won a championship with a big star in Giannis. And then he goes to Phoenix and he gets fired after a year? Budenholzer was a great coach. A lot of people forget he won 60 games with a team of nobodies in Atlanta. Was the number 1 seed in the playoffs not too long ago.
Okay, so let's go through Durant's career. So everyone likes him in Oklahoma City. He's part of a fun team.
Won an
good young
MVP
team.
there, yes.
Won an MVP, so he's nice there. They, they never get that championship, which that eludes them. But he establishes himself as a great, great, great player. He goes to Golden State for 3 years. They win some championships. He then gets into it with Draymond Green and shoots his way out of town. Then he goes to Brooklyn for one of, inarguably, the biggest disasters in the history of the modern NBA, how that whole thing worked out. I think you would have to agree.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And then gets the coach blown out there and then ends up leaving. He goes to Phoenix.
Kenny Atkinson, who, by the way, is the head coach of Cleveland this year.
Yeah, who are playing okay. And then he goes to Well, all remember Kenny Atkinson when we were talking about him?
Oh, God. We were like, they forced this guy out there. And I remember Brooklyn was a bunch of nobodies before they showed up. He was turning that franchise around.
Right. So before they went all in with the owner was an idiot. Atkinson was like this innovative guy that had been taking these minor pieces and made them cohesive and was doing these new things, and they were having success. And if you just would have stayed the course, something would have come out of that. So they blow that up in one of the all-time worst general manager moves. So Phoenix, then they get Phoenix. A new owner comes in and he goes, I want to win right away. So he makes these moves, and Durant blows another coach out. The question is this. Durant is a top 10 player of all time. Durant is still very, very good. Another thing about the Suns, by the way, it's not like Booker and it's not like, Philadelphia or something. It's not like Booker and Durant didn't play. Booker and Durant both played plenty. But, Durant played 62 games this year, which for a star is plenty. And Booker played, I think, 78 or something like that. Booker played a lot of games. So it's not like they were missing everyone the whole season. Would you, as an owner, want Durant, because they're moving him this offseason, would you want Durant? Because we've had this discussion before. I wouldn't say an argument, a discussion before of if I, in my own perspective, and why your perspective, Fred? Because, well, I'm me, and that's all I know. I can't get in anyone else's head. I believe if I owned a team at a certain point, especially an NBA team, I'd be like, you're not winning. Like, you're not winning. Like, if I'm going to pay you a lot of money, there's one thing, the prospect of winning in the future. So, like, you're a kid that's going to be here for, 10, 15 years, and I'm going to invest in you, and you're going to help me win a title. But if I bring in a high-priced free agent or make a trade for a high-priced veteran, you better be a winner. Like, if you're not a winner, why am I paying you and putting up with the headache?
Okay, Durant is going to finish in the top 5 in scoring all time in this league. He's, I think, 8th right now.
Okay.
So he's going to finish top 5. He's one of the best 10 players ever. But look at what he's done the last 5 or 6 seasons. We just talked about him getting Kenny Atkinson fired when he showed up in that COVID season. Monty Williams, he's played now 3 years. This is the end of his 3rd season. It's really 2.5, but 3 seasons in Phoenix. He got Monty Williams fired right after he showed up. He got Frank Vogel fired in his 2nd year, and he got Mike Budenholzer fired after this year. He's 36. How many years left do you think he has? 2? 2. If I'm an NBA owner, I want that guy nowhere near my franchise because it's not just the money you're going to have to pay him. It's all those draft picks you're going to have to send to Phoenix.
Exactly. So my point is that even if I feel because you wouldn't be a player away. It just seems to not work. Like, it doesn't seem to work in the NBA. Building these teams using high-priced veterans like Brooklyn, Phoenix. I mean, it just doesn't work. Philadelphia, it just doesn't work. Like when you just put these collections of veterans together.
And because it worked, and it
the Celtics, it worked.
I was going to say it worked a couple of times. Bringing in Kevin Garnett in 2007, that worked. Okay, and you turn around and you got a championship the next year, but. If the personalities are just a little bit off, or whoever you're bringing in is not willing to acquiesce as Kevin Durant my God. As
Durant,
what the hell?
Who are you talking about here?
I'm losing my mind.
What you kind of lost me. What are we discussing?
Yeah,
here?
what team?
If they're with the Celtics, if they're not willing, you're a high-priced veteran to come in and say, like happened here with the Celtics, oh, this is Paul Pierce's team.
Right.
I'm just here,
Okay.
To go along for the ride.
Right.
Now, we all knew that wasn't really the case, and we knew who the real addition to the team was and what was going to get them over the hump. But Durant's not that guy. He might act all quiet and reserved in certain cases, but he's going to want to come in there, and they're going to have certain demands, and they're going to demand that. And Garnett, I'm sure, was that way, whether he's making Glenn Davis cry or whether he was asserting himself in other ways. But they kind of established this power dynamic, whether real or not, that made everybody comfortable and they could go out and win. Kevin Durant's not going to do that.
No.
And another thing with this is, do coaches matter or not? Because if a coach wins a title, if it's not the coach that won the title, fine. But then the same logic would pertain to, well, if the team's not playing well, that's not the coach's fault either. Because you can't get no credit for winning and then all the blame for losing.
It is the coach that matters, but only if he has a good roster. We've had this discussion before. We talked about whether or not Joe Torre's a good manager. Joe Torre, if you take a look at those teams he had in 99, 2000, right in there, they were loaded, but you need a guy that can massage egos and get great players to work for him. That's why Budenholzer was great in Milwaukee. Giannis and Drew Holiday listened to him. They won a championship. You can say what you want about Frank Vogel, but he won a championship with LeBron in L.A. So
Bubble.
True, but it's still
asterisk
still a championship. So both of those guys came to Phoenix. Both of them got fired because they couldn't work with Kevin Durant.
And then look at, Milwaukee with, the same guy. Milwaukee gets rid of Budenholzer. Then you have Denver this year, who gets rid of the first coach who ever took them to a championship.
Yep.
It is interesting that it's like, so if it doesn't again, just the logic of the NBA is this, because just based on hirings and firings, if you win a title, it really has nothing to do with you because you're expendable like in a year or so. So it didn't matter. You winning the title didn't matter. But then if you're the coach of a bad team, it matters. You're everything. It means everything that you were the guy. So being an NBA coach is a literal no-win situation. If you win a title, it doesn't matter. There's no insurances that come with that. There's no safety that comes with that. And then because the minute the team's bad, it's your fault. And it's not like Phoenix couldn't do anything. Look, they want to fire their coach after the season, fine. But it's not like they're not going to have to completely overhaul that team anyway.
So I mean, they're going to have to move on. They're going to have to figure out a way.
That owner is nuts. He's still paying Monty Williams. He's still paying Frank Vogel. And Budenholzer was in the first year of like a 4 or 5 year contract.
First year of 5, and I think it was
$10 million a year.
I think it was $50 million.
Yeah. So I mean, he's paying all 3 coaches this summer.
Well, because he bought the team and he was like, I want to win right away.
Okay,
and that's just not the way it works.
So if you want to do that, if you want to bring in someone new, either as a coach or to your front office, you need to bring in somebody who knows how to win, somebody with a championship pedigree, somebody who's just got winning in their DNA. And that's what they're going to do in New Orleans.
And a front runner has already emerged as the team searches for its next executive vice president. According to Shams Charania at ESPN, the Pelicans are expected to be in talks with Joe Dumars, who is currently the NBA's head of basketball operations. Dumars is a Shreveport native, spent 14 seasons playing for the Detroit Pistons, where he won 2 NBA championships.
Dumars.
That's why.
He's a Hall of Famer from not that long ago.
Yeah.
Joe Dumars.
She has no idea who
Why
he
is she saying Dumars?
That's a news anchor who was just handed a piece of paper and said, read this.
Duval.
Close enough.
Dumars.
That's right.
Well, Hardy and I can take it down memory lane.
We won't, but we could.
We will. So,
good.
So, well, do you like NBA history, Jonathan?
I do.
I'm
a student of it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Adam. Well, the Pistons have that run and, everyone retires. The owner is going to put someone in charge of the front office, like the president of the organization. Two men vying for it, Isaiah Thomas and Joe DeMars. And he chooses Dumars. I remember where I was when that announcement was made. I was leaving that club that Kornikova and Fedorov belonged to. And it was very, very interesting in the city of Detroit because, and rightly so, they knew obviously Isaiah Thomas was out of his mind. So, but they had chosen Dumars over Isaiah Thomas to run the organization.
This is how I remember it. And you were still there. What year was it, Fred?
It was maybe when I was in college and they did it over the summer, or I was in high school.
Okay. So I was out of Detroit, definitely. I may have been out of state by then. But at this time, pre-internet and all that, I found it shocking because I still thought Isaiah was a good guy. Like,
so did I.
Everybody likes Isaiah.
Yeah, well, it was very surprising. People were like, why would you not have taken Isaiah? He was the face of this organization. He's, like gritty, all-time great. Like, why would you have not taken him?
Right.
And it was a big controversy. And then Dumars came in, and Dumars had some success.
Yeah.
I mean, Dumars is a level-headed guy. It seems.
Controversy. Isaiah ruined two franchises. You remember what he did with the Knicks? He completely imploded that franchise.
Well, I just said he's out of his mind.
But he a lot of people forget he went to Toronto first and ruined that team.
Well, he got in, but now he just angers young players on television.
I forget about the Raptors.
Yeah, he was the guy who drafted Damon Stoudemire to the Raptors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
How could you forget? He drafted Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just to give you an idea of where we were time-wise.
Anyway, Pistons-Knicks playoff series, there's some controversy going on with the ticket sales. The Knicks fans are saying that they're being blocked from buying the tickets by agencies in and around the Detroit Pistons. Pistons say, no, we're just doing this to thwart the efforts of ticket scalpers. It has nothing to do with trying to keep Knicks fans out of the building.
You have to have a certain zip code. You can't in Michigan and I think parts of Ohio, but that's it.
Good.
I mean, is it against the rules?
No.
I don't think so.
So do it.
When you buy tickets to things, they ask you what team you're rooting for. That happens even if you buy them on secondary market. They ask you what team you're rooting for.
It's generally considered Bush League to do it. I remember the Bruins had a playoff series in Tampa. We were on the air, and Tampa was blocking Bruins fans with zip codes from up here from going down and watching the game.
Yeah, and I don't blame them because Bruins fans, who I love, and I'm one of them, are as annoying as Knicks fans. Like, you knew the Bruins were all going to go down to Tampa Bay. Knicks fans are all going to go to Detroit. Because New York loves nothing as much, because the Yankees are always good. New York loves nothing as much as a Knicks team in the playoffs. They lose their minds. Isn't that a funny city? Yankees, Knicks, number one and number two.
Yep.
By far, by a million.
Yep.
Number one and number two. New York City, not football, not in New York City. They like even in the outer boroughs. Now you get to Long Island. That's Mets, Jets.
Yeah.
There's just Nassau County.
We've also got the
Hamptons, Giants.
Updated jersey sales and
I know that.
info, but we can do that later.
Well, you don't. I mean, there's one story, right? The Doncic is the number one.
Yep.
Has emerged from the Lakers being number one. Who from the Celtics makes the top five?
I would assume Tatum, but I might be wrong.
No, you are right. He's fourth.
Okay.
He's fourth, but somewhat surprising, Jaylen Brown is 15th. He's in the top 15.
You know what I think I'm going to start doing? Walking around in NBA jerseys.
Oh, sweet. You could be like our version of the afternoon show with hockey jerseys. You could just wear a different basketball.
You could be the Kevin Majori
Yeah.
of the morning show, but the basketball.
Yeah.
All right. So Jordan, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, was on the field yesterday. She had on a robe, rhinestone duster. It looked very similar to something that the Macho Man Randy Savage would have worn, or someone opening for the Judds, the country group, and a female artist in the 80s.
Tombstone the musical. Doc Holliday would be wearing.
Yeah, they did a very campy Tombstone kind of situation. And so We have an expert on, Andrew Callahan, who's covered football for a lot of time, a lot of years. He's been on the field during joint practices. We'll ask him, is it even rare? Are we being unfair that Jordan looks to be trying to make a bit of a spectacle of herself by being on the field during North Carolina practices wearing high-heeled platform boots and a very sequined duster that speaks class? We will ask him his opinion. If just not even so much his opinion, it's just fact or fiction. Does that usually happen? All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Find
Wait.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider. Our Instagram page is looking to monetize, baby. Creep you towards 25,000 before you can shake a stick. You get quality content on mine, like a picture of the area of town or out of town that I was at yesterday.
You picked up followers yesterday.
Oh, you better believe it.
You were at 24.7. Now you're at 24.8.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to go out there yesterday?
Oh, to go to my son's game?
Yes. In scenic Winchendon, Massachusetts.
An hour and 45 minutes there.
Oh, jeez.
An hour and 10 minutes back.
For those listening this morning, I ended up making the trek to the county.
Oh, I meant to say country. I was. My son was playing. I was a little distracted, but I needed to let people know that I was out there. You know, if we have listeners out there in Winchendon, where the Mennonites have apparently beautiful furniture stores. We are. I was there.
How close to the New Hampshire border were you?
Can't say. I didn't see any mile markers, but I can tell you that your ears pop. That there is
okay.
It's funny, on the way there, I noticed my ears popping. On the way back, Milo was like, "Are your ears popping?" And I'm like, "Indeed, we are. There are many different grades that we are at now. We are climbing and climbing and climbing.
Very scenic ride out Route 2.
Well, Route 2, that rotary is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's
right next to the prison. It's a joy.
Yeah,
100% of the
Well,
time.
I passed 2 prisons that I saw, so there was a lot of prisons. Okay. That's where, if you go into prison, just know you're going to be out there in God's country. It's a lot of fun. Is that considered suburban Boston anymore?
The first one, where the first prison is in Acton.
No, that is suburban
that's
Boston.
Suburban Boston. That second one, not. I don't think so.
Yeah. I think the first prison is not even like really active anymore. I thought that was Concord, but that's Acton. You're telling me
it might be Concord. They
it's
border
Concord.
one another.
The rotary you're referring to is Concord.
Yeah. I make my way around there quite a bit now. I'll be up there again tomorrow. Not in Winchendon, but I'll be up there. Up well past the prison tomorrow.
When it gets nicer, make a little detour at Walden with me, buddy.
Oh yeah.
I swear to God, I'll go to Walden with you this year because it won't be because Walden Pond's right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's 126. It's like a couple miles before you get to the rotary. Yeah.
I pass. Oh no, that's a light snack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get into the Walden Pond.
Yeah.
Well, I walk there. I walk there from here. Remember when we did the thing about how long I was in the car, and then we did the mileage, and then the mileage wasn't that impressive? Don't worry, it's impressive now. All right. So, listen, we were talking about this yesterday. So, anyway, the reason I bring up the Instagram pages is the video went viral as intended, I think as intended, of Bill Belichick's. She just turned 24. She was 23 the whole time we thought she was 24, but she just turned 24. Her name is Jordan.
Thank goodness.
She's a philosophy lady. She did cheerleading. Mm-hmm. And Bill Belichick started banging her. And now what was interesting is it started out as a picture taken through a window of a restaurant in New Orleans, probably about a year and a half ago. And you went, okay, big deal. And then he started taking Jordan out to things, or they started putting pictures on social media.
Yeah.
And people were like, who's this young woman? And then it came out that she was an old soul, an old boyfriend of hers who was like 60. He was not in his 70s. He was like 60. He had dated Jordan, and he said that she's an old soul. And then we heard that Belichick had heard met on a plane. Due to her interest in philosophy, he saw that she was reading a philosophy book.
Yeah.
And then he started bringing her out to events, and it was funny. And then she was in the Super Bowl Dunkin' commercial with him, and she was identified. Ben Affleck, the dude from Succession, Bill Belichick, and then Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Odd. And then Pablo Torres comes out and he says, a real journalist, comes out and says, guess what? She's acting as his de facto agent. Like, if you email him, he's telling you, go through Jordan. So it starts getting weird.
Yeah.
Then we find out they're getting married in December, according to all reports that we're hearing. And then you're like, okay, whatever. Like, he's head over heels for this woman. Look, let him live his life. It's funny because he's such an old dick, and like he looks every bit of his age, and he's got big old boobies and everything else. He's gross. But you think, look, Jordan, maybe she's got some kind of thing for old guys. They're legitimately in love. Well, no, now that's not the case, because yesterday was the tipping point. You think, young lady, old guy, maybe the old guy's kind of like a perv or something. No. Jordan yesterday, it's a North Carolina football practice. Fred, what do you mean it's a North Carolina football practice? They're practicing football. It's the team. And they're in, uniform and everything else, practice uniforms. And Jordan is out. She is wearing could be described, and you guys agree with this assessment. I'm just describing what I saw. A sequined North Carolina colored robe. If Ric Flair walked out with it, going into the ring, you would think that was Ric Flair's robe. He's North Carolina guy. Maybe she bought it from Ric Flair. And she had on high platform heel boots. So, and she wasn't just walking around. She was fiddling with Bill, like maybe a microphone. She was she was all around Bill Belichick during practice. So, to me, it looks like she obviously wanted this to go viral. She's obviously, with the microphone, concocting some kind of media thing that she needs to be a part of. I don't know why. It's not just innocently filming the Bill Belichick practice. She's obviously dressed to get attention and to be on camera. So then you think, oh boy, teetering old man being taken advantage of. But is that fair? So our good friend Andrew Callahan from the Boston Herald is on with us. Andrew, how common is it during real NFL practices for the coach's girlfriend to be walking around the field during practice? On the field, on it, not on the sidelines, on the field in practice, touching and talking to the coach?
Not common, Fred. Not common at all.
Okay, how many times in joint practices or in the NFL have you seen a coach's girlfriend or wife dressed like she was an 80s wrestler with platform-heeled boots on, talking and touching the coach?
Never, Fred. That not in my 7 years covering the Patriots, including some joint practices in Philly and Detroit and other places. They've hosted teams up here, but I got to tell you, never in that outfit.
Really? Not even Wayne Fonts. Okay, what do you think Bill Belichick's demeanor and attitude would have been like if they were doing joint practices with the team and the other coach had his girlfriend come out in a sequin wrestling jacket and high platform boots, and during practice she was messing around with the coach?
He might have gotten a kick out of it. I don't know. But Bill only had practices with coaches that he liked or felt like he could kind of.
What do you think the conversation behind the scenes would have been like with Bill? Do you think he would have respected it?
I think he would have had a certain eye for the woman or girlfriend or wife or whoever it might have been. But, yeah, he probably would have busted balls after the fact.
Okay. Does this surprise you that this is going on as someone who covered him for so many years?
Yes, but, I think you have to be surprised. But I think we also, we talked about this on TV last night. You realize the guy has entered his maximum, don't give an F era, as the guy who never gave an F in the first place, which isn't to say it's not weird. It's just when he goes to a place and dictates, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to put in a brand new grass field, and I'm never, ever going to talk to the media down there, and this is how we're going to run the program. And, oh, by the way, my agent/girlfriend is going to be on the field. There's, literally no one to tell him no.
Yes, and is that a good thing? Because did you say he's just not a given F stage, that he's also in his I'm being taken advantage of stage?
I mean, I don't know anything about that. I think that would take someone reporting. You could not go back to Pablo Torre for that.
You could not say that it's perhaps that this woman is using him to gain her own notoriety?
Well, look, I think that certainly there's a mutual benefit here, because Bill's not going to do anything like he said that he doesn't want to. He doesn't give an F. So whether it's a personal, it's a love relationship, where there's some good business she's doing for him, is this new venture as an agent? I don't know. I just think this is clearly a setup that both of them are comfortable with.
Okay, so you think the 23-year-old is leading him in the right way? She's the Maverick Carter of her generation.
I have no clue, Fred. What I would tell you,
if you had to guess, as a person with a degree, would you guess that she's the best equipped to handle his career?
Bill seems to think so. So if Bill's the expert on Bill, then I would say yes.
If Bill was your friend, what would you say to him?
What's going on? How long is this? What's next? Am I invited to the wedding? Is this going to happen? What's going on here?
Would you caution him that maybe you're letting a little bit too much control go to someone that you've only known for a little while?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, look, what I
some
would ask
friends
you is
you
this,
are.
how many people do you think? Yeah. Can you imagine that Bill wouldn't want to be friends with me after all these years and lovely exposés that I come on here and talk about after the years? Look, how many people do you think have taken advantage of Bill? Let's do Jordan's lifetime, the last 24 years.
Okay.
How many? What's the list?
How many people have taken advantage of Bill?
Yeah, in this way that Fred's suggesting.
I would say none.
Yeah. In all of Jordan's lifetime, the answer is no. Nobody has done that.
I mean, no one's done it on camera.
But
so blatantly.
Would we suggest then this might not be to the extent that, like, obviously he's comfortable with it, but like, what is he losing here? Like Fred's respect that he didn't have? I just think it's clearly something he's comfortable with. Yes, it's very weird. Yes, he could. I mean, he has a regular coaching agent. Neil Cornrich is his name. But as far as all the other stuff, media appearances and whatnot that he may or may not be doing, I think that's more in her wheelhouse. So if he likes it,
how is that in her wheelhouse?
Well, it's okay. So what I mean is more
no.
What she's doing now, what her job is.
Explain how that's in her wheelhouse. How she knows how to get him
Fred,
the most media attention.
I will tell you, if it isn't clear, that's not exactly what I meant. I misspoke in terms of her expertise or wheelhouse. What I'm saying is that's her focus right now. Like, she's not executing contracts or negotiating salaries.
Oh, I think that she's executing contracts in that she's getting him endorsements and organizing his public face, that she's working as a PR agent and someone who picks out what he's going to be doing publicly. That's a very important role. That's someone that you give 10% to 5% of your salary to, not a 23-year-old.
Right. I mean, well, then if there's an exchange of salary, I don't know what we call this relationship then. But I think
the
other part about that is,
Andrew.
If you remember the Hard Knocks deal that fell through, like they had that deal with NFL Films, a group that Bill's very comfortable with, cozy with, based on their past productions and the football life. He was one of the first people they picked out for that series when they started that on NFL Network almost 15 years ago. So who knows? There might be more to this. Where's Mike Lombardi in this? Speaking of some of your more favorite people, I don't know.
Well, if I'm Lombardi, I'm very sad because I wanted to be wearing the sequin jacket and the high heels. Because
who's to say he's not?
Well, he puts. I wonder if Bill asked him to put on that outfit and put his hair in pigtails.
I want to be fiddling and futzing around with his microphone and trotting out to the field party.
Listen, live and let live, says Andrew Callahan. Good for you.
Yes.
All right, very good. All right, you have a charity, Andrew?
Yes, thank you guys very much for giving me 30 seconds here. This Thursday night, 1 week before the draft, we are holding a charity draft party at Vitamin C SEA Brewery in Weymouth. The reason I bring this up is because there will be possible player appearances and an auction for 2 tickets to any Patriots home game you want to go to. You name the week, you name the opponent, you get to sit in the suite from start to finish. All of the money for those tickets and tickets to this event, Thursday night, Vitamin C SEA Brewery in Weymouth, go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in honor of Hallie Kide, Doug Kide's late daughter, who unfortunately passed away last year. This includes a social hour, media Q&A, myself, Doug, Mike Giardi, Mark Daniels, and more. Thursday night, 7:30, Vitamin C Brewery. Go to my Twitter or Doug's, or just Google draft, the old school British spelling, DRAUGHT party. Buy tickets, fight cancer, talk football, even go to a game. It's going to be a great night, and I appreciate you guys making some time.
Are we allowed to ask you anything, or does it have to be football related during the Q&A?
No, come on. I can't do this show and put up some boundaries here. Anything's on the table.
Had to invite Giardi, too. That's too bad.
Yeah, maybe we could get out. We could get more outrageous and outrageous with the women that we bring out and find Andrew Callahan defend them.
I mean, maybe we have a fashion show. We just each try a Jordan outfit and just have a runway down here.
I don't think I could pull that. I don't think I could pull off that duster.
Andrew was the guy that was like, "Why?" Anna Nicole Smith's in love with that 90-year-old billionaire,
and he's happy.
And he's happy.
Maybe he's okay with it.
Yeah, he's in his big "don't give an F" stage.
Interesting
take,
do you feel bad
Andrew.
for Bill, by the way, because
Yes.
I'm honestly more curious about the way you're experiencing.
I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for his family.
You do,
yeah. I mean,
it's certainly awkward. Yeah.
Well,
no
think of it
question
with
about
your
that.
dad. Like, I mean, it's.
Oh, I'd hate that. Yeah.
No, it's being taken advantage of. I'll tell you this, Andrew. I'm single and 50. There is a world where I could pay and not pay like leave cash on a dresser. Where if I wanted to, I don't have the fetish to. Like I'm not out to like bang a girl in their early 20s, but I could go on Tinder or Hinge or something, and there's plenty 21-year-old girls that say, I want to take care of you while you take care of me. And I could get in a relationship with them and date them and, pay rent and buy them clothes and have sex with them as much as I want. But I'd feel bad for myself. I'd feel bad for my kids. I'd feel bad for my parents. I'd feel bad for everybody if I was doing that. And I have no desire to do that. So that is why I feel bad for Bill Belichick at this point.
I understand. I just, Bill, in many different respects, and obviously most of them that I know in football, is a one of one. And so this guy has a long history with women in addition to that. So there are a few things that I would put past him. This is still surprising, don't get me wrong. But I just don't think he's been lost in any kind of way here. He's clearly enjoying their relationship and dynamic, and it's gone on for years, as you detailed. So I think he's still got it there together. But if you do any more investigating, you're more than happy to call me back.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
You got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Guys.
Bye, Andrew.
All right. Very quickly, I will take this phone call. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, so just quick side note. As a Bridgewater State alum, I'm glad that my alma mater is getting a little bit of spotlight. But I am curious, everyone keeps saying Jordan is going to, turn this relationship into, a media empire or whatever, but how?
I don't think I don't think there's a way. No, I don't think that. You're right.
I push back.
Anna
I push
Nicole
back on
Smith
that
didn't
too.
turn her marriage into a business.
No,
so I'm just really confused when people talk about that.
Yeah, how old are you? Because I just have
33.
Okay, so maybe you're a little bit older, but for some whatever reason, internet clout, followers and all that is everything to people in their 20s. It's the way that they view media. So
that's sad.
Yeah, I know. My kids ask me if their friend's famous because they're on some clip that went relatively viral for something dumb. That's how they value fame. So Jordan, as his social media liaison, is obviously trying to build her brand. Obviously she was in the Dunkin' commercial to try to build her brand. Now I agree with you, Chris. What's the end game in this? She'll get money if they get married and everything, but I don't think that's it. I think the end game too is this kind of Instagram fame and this idea of being a brand, but that brand is we're banging an old gross guy, and so I'm with you. I don't really know where that goes.
I don't see that. I can't see this lasting more than 5 years after their relationship ends.
Oh, I
Dancing with the
agree.
Stars in a couple of years.
Yeah,
that's maybe the extent of it.
Nail on the head.
Well
Nail
done.
on the head.
Well done.
Nail on the head. Exactly. I'm with you, Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a wise thing, but it's great, and I love every minute of it. You would never know because I don't barely talk about it. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
It's a bad logo. It's whoever designed it. I know Valkyrie. I don't know what that has to do with Valkyrie. Maybe that's some kind of thing. The symbol, but it looks like just a down arrow.
Yeah.
They got a C- in their draft, according to ESPN.
That's too bad. You don't want to give the expansion franchise the number 1 overall pick. You want to make sure.
No, you got to have a team that earns it.
Yeah.
And again, Paige Beckers was taken by Dallas, and I was listening to the radio on my 4,000-mile drive yesterday, and they said they were speculating, both hosts, that finally the healing process in Dallas can begin after the trade of Luka Doncic.
Thank
because
God.
there's a new star in town.
Those fans have really suffered too. So
there is a new star in town.
They've got a brand new player there in Dallas, and that was the talk, I would say, for most of the morning.
I got off of Facebook, and none of these for any moral reasons. I got off of Facebook because it just was annoying me, and I had already seen all the girls that I wanted to see from high school and college, so it had run its course. The girls that I wanted to reconnect with after I got separated, that had been done.
Yeah.
So it had run. There was literally nothing left for me to do on
Sure.
Facebook. It was gone. I don't care about the people that postulate about either way. Either way, really, they both annoy me on the website about politics. So I don't care. I am off of Twitter completely. Not even do I hold a burner account.
you got rid of that too?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think Twitter's a problem. I think Twitter's a problem. And I can't, and this kind of is a moral thing. I think that Twitter is like the worst of humanity. And when I thought about it, there was nothing on there that I cared about. I don't care about anyone's opinion of me on it at all anymore. I used to care deeply but we were all adjusting to it. But I mean, I am a very sensitive young man. But I realized I hadn't looked at Twitter for anything other than habit or looked or cared about what anyone was doing or saying about me in like close to a year. And I'm like, I don't even want to give them the satisfaction of having a burner account. So if you go to my phone, there's no Twitter anymore. I'm very much alive on Instagram at Fred Toucher.
24/8, right?
24/8 and growing.
I got to focus all my attention on the content I'm putting out there is what I'm saying.
I got it.
And I've made my mistakes on Twitter too. So, and I had already cut ties with having my own Twitter account, but now I don't need it as and I haven't missed it as like a breaking news thing either. Like I haven't, like I could just, the web is infinite. Like the news is constantly breaking. There's nothing I need to see there. The guys I follow are the guys I follow, and I know where they write. Like, if I want to see what Rich Cimini's saying about the Jets, I can go. Well, first of all, they have Instagram accounts, but I can go to ESPN and see what Rich Cimini's writing about. What do I need to know?
What do you need the 25,000 for? You keep talking about 25,000. Is that the magic number? 25,000?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's like the devil. Can I explain why? It's never enough.
Okay. But let's say
I'm like Scrooge McDuck.
Okay.
It's never enough. I have all the gold coins. I want more.
He's going to be rolling in his followers.
Is there a number that you believe that you can reach that will somehow reward you?
I got to figure it's out there. I just don't know what it is till I got it.
Okay. And what do you think will happen when you get to that number?
Well, first thing I'll do is buy a sequined robe.
No. Let's say the number is 26,700. That's the calculus that Instagram came up with. You get to that number of followers, then in your mind, what happens?
There's almost a divine sense of calm and well-being, and that your life was worth something.
Do you think you get a phone call from Instagram saying, "Hey, congratulations! Now we're going to start sending you money"?
No, you'd have to get way more for that. What I think is that it's not like the YouTube where they give you like a framed YouTube thing when you reach a certain amount of followers. No, because I've been trying to get my kids to get in a lot of videos, like so I can start like a teen posse and have them have crushes and stuff, so I can monetize my children.
Sure,
but they're really pushing back on it, so I don't know if I'll ever get one of those.
We bring the boom.
Exactly.
That's what we do. We bring the boom.
That's the model. I want that kind of career. To be honest with you, with the followers on Instagram, I don't know. I guess you can make money at a certain point, but I don't know. All I know is that companies value your Instagram followers. To be honest with you, like, that's something that they look at, and you can go, like, if you have like 30, 40, 50,000 Instagram followers, it definitely helps you get endorsements and jobs. That is true. Like, if it was I know we got a break, but if there was two equal people like looking for a radio job or like some kind of thing, and they were, you know, pretty dumb, which a lot of people that hire are, and they would take the person with the most Instagram followers. I mean, they would. So, I mean, there is some value on it until something else comes out.
Boom, 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 boom.
You know what? That's like the telltale heart. Missed opportunity every time I hear it. All right, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more.
sports.
Holiday three. Good night. Jalen forces it up over to He tied it.
WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins will wrap up a disappointing season tonight when they entertain New Jersey at TD Garden. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's been a bumpy ride for interim head coach Joe Sacco.
For me, it's been pretty consistent throughout the year as far as my message to the players and what we expect from them as a staff, and that hasn't changed from November till now. I've enjoyed the experience. I wish that obviously things were in a better situation, but I've enjoyed the experience.
The team called up defenseman Frederick Brunet and forward John Farinacci yesterday. Both are expected to make their NHL debuts this evening. In NBA news, the play-in rounds of the playoffs begin tonight. Orlando hosts Atlanta, with the winner coming to TD Garden to play the Celtics on Sunday. After posting a 36-46 record and missing the playoffs, Phoenix fired head coach Mike Budenholzer yesterday. Tampa Bay had a 14-1 lead after 3 innings last night. They coasted to a 16-1 win over the Red Sox at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. A Christian Campbell homer was all the Sox got. Shane Baz allowed 1 run and 2 hits and struck out 11 over 6 easy innings for the Rays. The two teams play again tonight. And Aaron Judge yesterday named the captain of Team USA for next year's World Baseball Classic. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rapid Flow Sewer and Drain Cleaning. This spring, a tree root may damage your sewer line. Do what Beetle did. Fix it with no-dig pipelining technology. 800-286-FLOW or rapidflowinc.com, where one call solves it all. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Scored.
98.5, the Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
We interrupt this program for breaking news.
I can't use it.
Newsflash.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and every so often we delight you with news from around the country, and Hardy today is no different.
This comes from Connecticut, Fred, where a local church has a problem with their next-door neighbor. Now, this is unfortunate because we just have two entities here, both, they're supposed to be serving the public good, but the church believes that their next-door neighbor is not serving the community the way they should.
Have I told you the story about my friend that was making building a restaurant in Brookline? Have I told you this story?
No.
So, a friend of mine, a guy,
and I'm guessing nothing went wrong with trying to start something new in Brookline.
No. The story is actually a feel-good story about it. That guy now is Wolfgang Puck.
Okay.
No. So this guy owns a bar. Like, I don't know him anymore, but he owned a really popular bar in Brookline, in the Washington Square area. So he wanted to open up another restaurant. So he leased or bought the property of an old deli, like an old Russian deli, that was on the corner right by where his current restaurant was. The bar is still there. So there was a house behind the place that he was building, and the concept of the restaurant was a barbecue place. So there was going to be a smoker. Now, the people behind that didn't like it, and so one day he was on a ladder doing some stuff, I guess, to the awning or something. And this is an absolutely true story. This little Hasidic guy comes up to him and he goes, "Hi." He goes, "Is this your place?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he comes down and he goes, "Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah." And the guy goes, "Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah." And they shake hands. And the guy goes, "Is this going, I noticed you took over for the deli." And he goes, yeah. And he goes, "Is this going to be kosher?" And he goes, "No." And the guy rips him in the face with a punch. And then he notices people that do not work for him are skittling around the kitchen while they are building the place, taking photos. And it turns out that there was a house behind him with like 10, 12 people living in it. And They did not like that he was building this restaurant. So the night before his literally the evening, like late afternoon before he was to open, the city turned down his license to have the smoker.
Oh.
So he had to sit up and create a new menu the night before the restaurant was opening. And guess what? It wasn't good and the restaurant failed. So there you go. So Nate, my thing is,
and he got punched in the snot locker for his efforts.
Yeah, and he said that the guy, like a little old guy, like hit him. Like, what was he gonna do? You know, like so he just he took the punch and the guy just walked off. It's like, what am I gonna do about it? So what I say is sometimes neighbors are strange bedfellows, if I may.
Yeah.
All right. So this is in Connecticut. A church has got a neighbor. Let's hear about what this neighbor does.
Well, the town of Plymouth has ordered a swingers club to cease and desist, citing zoning regulation.
Now, why a swingers club? Why would that be an issue? Just because, is this a Plato's Retreat? Now, John, you know Plato's Retreat.
I think I do.
It was the place in New York City with like the pools and they used to advertise on public access.
That's
you were
right.
around New York
Yes,
City
I
at relatives' house when they used to advertise Plato's Retreat.
Yes, Robin Bird. Yes.
Google Plato's Retreat. It's gross. Even if you really like sex, it's gross. So when I think swingers club, you better be coming correct with Plato's Retreat. So Carrie Fisher went to Plato's Retreat one time and threw away her dress that she had on the night before. And Carrie Fisher was no saint.
Yeah.
No.
Pools and jacuzzis and people having sex all over the place.
I don't know from Plato's Retreat, but I'm guessing that is what they're trying to mimic at the end of Night Shift when they go to rescue Shelley Long.
They are absolutely trying to do that, and that's actually a fact. And did you have friends growing up, I don't know if we've ever discussed it with you, with like conversation swingers pits in their house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were swingers. Did you know that?
No.
So, a friend of mine in elementary school, his parents could not have been grosser. One woman was so overweight she could not walk without assistance. She was that overweight. It was no genetic thing or anything. She was just horribly fat. Her and her husband, come to find out, big swingers parties, and the center of the attention was the pit in the living room that we all thought was so cool. It was more of
a conversation pit, I believe,
right.
is how they were.
And that conversation
they were called,
was
real estate circles.
Who takes the short straw and has to bang my friend's mom?
Freaky dicky stuff.
And so I haven't seen him for a long time, but I think one of the first things out of my mouth would be, "Are your swinger parents still alive?"
Well, the town of Plymouth has ordered a swingers club to cease and desist, citing zoning regulations.
Yeah, the owner says his club has done nothing wrong, but the pastor of the church next door wants them gone.
Yeah, Amber and Bree, that swingers club is located inside this building right next to a Baptist church.
Well, the Baptists are usually pretty free about this kind of stuff.
The Baptists are known to be very accepting and welcoming and tolerant.
Yeah, they're extremely tolerant people as a religion.
Yes.
So I can't imagine how this would go wrong.
Growing up, when I did attend church as a kid, it was at a Baptist church.
You went to a Baptist church?
Southern Baptist.
Huh.
Or was First Baptist. I'll look it up. I don't
Wow.
know.
Interesting.
That is hardcore.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's family, they're all from they're hillbillies.
Yeah.
Those are Baptists.
Do they handle snakes and speak in tongues and things of that nature?
No, but I remember one of the first times I was there after Sunday school, they brought everybody up to pick a prize out of, the toy chest. And a few kids went up in front of me and they came back with the finger handcuffs or a crappy yo-yo. I got up there and all of a sudden in the box sitting on top was this awesome dart gun, with the suction darts, and they had the full, and it took me years and years to realize that as the new kid, they primed the prize box right before I got up there so that I would think it was awesome and then want to come back.
Oh, they rope you in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's this proximity to the church that the town says is breaking the rules. They're ordering this club to close. Now the club's owner is pushing back.
We have a right to stay here and do our thing.
Steve Gagney says his swingers club on Main Street in Terryville is doing nothing wrong.
Real estate agents, lawyers, doctors, we've had politicians.
And I'm sure they're all very pleased. Name them. Please, if you could.
Yeah.
I'll be right back there. So now that you've announced that there's doctors and politicians, I imagine the media is even more interested in what's going on in your club. If I am not, if I there's no way in a million years I'd go back there now. You might as well close, dude.
The name of the club, by the way, is the Wicked Fun Club.
Oh, God. Do they at least have to wear masks?
And have a password at the door? Fidelio.
Is there a buffet, as there was in the Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
We've had prosecutors that are still members of the club come out here and enjoy themselves. What goes on in here, I really can't talk about, other than the fact that people
Other than naming the professions, you get anyone interested in who's going in.
Doctors, there's a local podiatrist. There is a tax professional who specializes in liens and foreclosures. Shush!
The dentist right across the street was just in a very interesting Devil's Three-Way the other day. Yeah, I mean, look at him. I mean, that dentist office has been there for 30 years. That guy was in here watching a guy bang his wife yesterday.
He was swinging.
Oh,
God. I don't know what that's in reference to. That could go a lot of ways.
Gagne opened Wicked Fun Club in November. Last Friday, he got an order to cease and desist from the town. No approval for the club has been obtained from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And as an adult use, the club cannot abut in whole or in part.
Well, those are old sodomy laws that should no longer stand.
The club cannot abut in whole or in part a residential zone.
You wrote that out beforehand, honey?
Yeah, you wrote the words abut in whole or in part.
Smart.
Who's editing your material here? Or was it on purpose?
The club cannot abut in whole or in part a residential zone and must also be 1,000 feet from a church. But Gagne says they're not an adult use business.
We fall in line as a private members-only social club by the state of Connecticut, so we're no different than a chess club, book club, any other private club.
He says this all started when his neighbors at Riverside Baptist Church made a complaint.
I saw cars coming in, and I was wondering what this was. And there's only one business I could think of that meets on weekends from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. with people formally dressed and going in. This type of business is supposed to be away from churches, schools.
Whoa. So you're a minister, and you said the only business that would have people coming in from 9 to 2 in the morning would be a swingers club?
How about a midnight mass?
How about no, joke's over. How would that possibly, why would your brain go to a swingers club? Have you ever thought anything that you have not gone into has been, well, first of all, have you ever been in a swingers club? I'm guessing the answer is no.
No.
Nor have I. Has there ever been a time that you've been walking down the street and gone, now you probably thought, that's not a legitimate business. That's like a front for something. Sure. Or that's a massage. That's like a Orchids of Asia type place.
Yeah.
There's that. Have you ever just gone, that must be a swingers club? No, it would never enter your mind. That's a very thin, I don't believe him. And now no offense to the Baptist minister. I don't want him putting a curse on me or something, but I don't think I've ever gone, that clientele looks like they're going into a swingers club.
Cannot abut in whole or in part.
What part?
It's not.
There's only one business I could think of.
Swingers.
Sure.
It's supposed to be away from churches, schools, daycares, that kind of thing, and they're obviously not.
Pastor David Townsley says he just wants the club to follow the zoning rules. Gagne says he plans to appeal.
It comes down to just harassment, and they're trying to violate our First Amendment right, telling us that we can't
to bang dudes' wives. I mean, that's why every hotel room's got a chair in the corner, right? I don't complain that there's a Bible in the bedside table. Don't complain that there's a chair so I can watch.
That's the cuck chair.
Yeah, I mean, it's since the word cuckold comes from Shakespearean times, sir. This is as old as man himself.
The interior shots of this place, mostly leather furniture, as one would imagine,
Sure.
because the fabrics you can't.
Yeah.
Some of that really, really tasteful LED string lighting that goes, like where the wall meets the ceiling.
Yeah, it knows you that you're coming to party.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, the only truly distasteful thing is there was one big screen TV with a cord hanging down, or it was hanging on the wall.
Hardy,
they didn't recess.
Offer your
the outlet.
services. Offer your services.
Yeah, Wild West.
And they're trying to violate our First Amendment right, telling us that we can't express ourselves how we want behind closed doors in private. And I'm willing to have a conversation with the pastor. I don't know if he's willing to have one with me. We hope that he's not closed-minded, and like the Bible says, don't judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that most people follow.
Exactly.
Never in my
Don't
entire
judge.
life. Never, ever, ever, ever. There's always a short end of the stick, and I usually be that person. Because I know that in any relationship I've ever been in, that the woman would be like, Jesus Christ. Because the woman I would be with would probably be all psyched because she doesn't have to be with me.
Right.
And then the guy might be psyched that he could be with the woman because guys, don't care as much.
I still got to get my buddy from Vegas to call in one morning.
Yeah.
Who attended bar at one of those, whatever the name of that company was that threw the big parties. And I think I don't know. The guy might be in jail now for doing it, but holy crap. What a story.
Yeah,
What
Milton
a
Bradley was the company. They was to have all these the Whammo company would have all these big swinger affairs. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Jay King will join us.
Golf in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Dutcher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
From now here, all you're going to talk about is playoffs, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, what wins a preseason game, a regular season game, a playoff game, it's all the same stuff. It all comes down to the margins, all comes down to the attention to detail, all comes down to the things that impact winning in that process. And, the guys don't get distracted by, does this game mean more than this? That locker room has done a good job of creating an environment where every game's important, and all the Tommy points and all those things go into the margins and the things that impact winning. So.
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jay King covers the Celtics for The Athletic. He had a big article about the new ownership of the Boston Celtics and the magical Dartmouth soccer team of years ago. Where are you?
I'm in my little office space.
All right. Sounds like, is there a fight outside?
That's probably my son screaming.
Oh, you have a son who screams? What's going on in there? I don't get that under
1 years
control.
old, can't really control him yet.
Well, I'll contact me off the air. I'll teach you how to get the 1-year-old in line.
Yeah, but
I appreciate that. I need all the tips I can get.
At least at 18 months, you can really get them to follow directions and stuff.
They're so fun at that age. So fun.
Oh,
Jay,
it's
cherish this time. I don't know if you have any parents or in-laws telling you this, but cherish it.
It goes really fast.
It goes really fast. It goes so fast.
I will give you good parenting advice: is that your kids get way more fun the older they get. It's
not advice.
It's it's advice not to listen to other people that don't say that.
We took him to the zoo yesterday for the first time, and
I'm sure he appreciated it.
Got to see the gorillas.
Yep.
Got to see the giraffes, and so it was a big day for him.
Do you do you take any kind of
medicine?
No. Do you take? Well, yeah. What psychiatric medicines do you take? Let's compare. Do you take any solace in that he won't remember any of this? That you take him to the zoo and really, if it goes good or bad, so long as he doesn't get hurt, none of it will be remembered.
Just show him a few pictures. It's more for us, honestly.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. No, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to have the young kid. All right, look. I won't waste any more of your time. This Dartmouth soccer team that this new owner of the Celtics was on. Let's cut to the chase. It had Andrew Shue on it.
Yeah, that's the most.
He was the big dopey idiot that never got another job after Melrose Place.
But he got to date Courtney Thorne-Smith for a while.
On Melrose Place, but she was the alpha in that relationship. If you recall, John, did you watch Melrose Place?
Of course I did.
Okay, you did.
Oh yeah. And then what's her name?
So you don't know nearly as much about it as you do 90210.
No. It's night and day.
You and I are very much on the same page there.
No, Melrose Place came right after that.
Yeah, but I was much more on the 90210 tip as well.
Jay King.
How about you, Jay King?
You watch Melrose Place, Jay King?
I never watched Melrose Place, so I was looking up. I was just going to write a story on his old soccer days, just because I figured that would be a window into what the new Celtics owner is about. Not much is known about him, obviously. And then as I was looking at the roster, I was like, dude, these guys are pretty big deals. And Andrew Shue obviously was the one who stood out the most. But I mean, another of his teammates is a part owner of the Philadelphia Union. On their website, he's listed right next to Kevin Durant in the ownership group. And I was just kind of like, wow, this team is kind of fascinating. Their coach was a legend who went on to Notre Dame and won a national championship. So it was just kind of like the whole team has done huge things. But Andrew Shue is definitely the headliner. My editor, as I was talking to her about it, she loved Andrew Shue, so she was very excited.
Well, he's a hunk for sure. But as I look him up here, he was apparently one of the Cobra Kai students in the first Karate Kid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that he is a bar patron in Vision Quest, which is a movie that I'm sure Joe Zula is into.
Was he married to the woman on the Today Show that got fired for having a relationship with her co-host?
Debbie Norville? Is that who you think?
No, not Deborah Norville. Oh, jeez, John.
Jane Pauley?
Get more into a time machine.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ. No, Willard Scott.
Andrew Shue was from like 30 years ago.
No, I think it happened recently.
Oh,
I think
that I did not know.
He ended up marrying the woman that the other person was married to. All right, I will research. You go. You talk to your friend Jay King. Go, John. Make with the talking. I'm going to find this out.
So William Chisholm, the soccer maven that he is.
Yes. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Andrew
Let me
Shue
step back.
married Good Morning America anchor and ABC News correspondent Amy Robach. They have two now. Amy Robach was the one that had an affair with her co-host, and they both got fired. But now Andrew Shue is dating the guy that his wife had an affair with, girlfriend or ex-wife. Guys,
Tangled web.
All right.
Yeah.
I just gave you some information.
Thanks.
Do
That's
what
all
you
right.
want with it. Go ahead, John.
Thanks.
Take over.
So explain to me how Dartmouth shaped him. Why do you think it is that you had 5 or 6 titans of industry?
And why didn't it work for my father who went to
I
Dartmouth?
know exactly.
So everybody I talked to just said that his coach was just a phenomenal teacher of life values, and he was an incredible soccer player in Scotland, and like very famous as a player, well known as a player, to the point where the guys on the team said, like, if you go to Scotland where he lives now, he's a huge deal. And so all those guys just say that time shaped them. They went to the Elite Eight. They played Alexi Lawless, and they kind of like have no respect for Alexi Lawless and his game, which cracked me up. That part was fun.
Why do they have no respect for him?
They just thought he was overrated, pretty much. They thought that he was the weak link on that Rutgers team that they lost to in the Elite Eight. They still seem 35 years later to regret that loss and think that they should have beaten that Rutgers team. And so I got to tell Alexi Lawless they thought he sucked, which was a fun part of reporting the story.
How did he take it?
I included one of the quotes in my story, but he also said something like, I might botch it a little bit, but this is pretty close to it. He said that it warms the cockles of my red-haired American heart that they still think about me all these years later.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Yeah, but he took it in stride.
All right. So when you you're getting good for you for like digging into this guy's past and everything. The more you find out about this owner, give Celtics fans a little bit of how they should be feeling about this in the future of the franchise, in your opinion.
I think they should be pretty excited. The one part I think that he might struggle with the most is just the spotlight. He's been out of the spotlight forever. His teammates, his coach, they said like he never sought the spotlight. That's not something that he'll be used to. Obviously, it's going to be a totally different experience for him as the new Celtics owner. But everything they said about him, he was a great teammate, just a selfless guy, cares about all the team-oriented stuff that the Celtics have kind of been built on. And from what it sounds like, I don't think he's going to try to change much, which I think the Celtics would want, and I think Celtics fans would want for the team, that he's going to basically, trust in their culture, believe in their culture, and want to continue things going the way they have lately.
So you really think he's up for signing and writing checks for that huge tax bill they have coming up?
That's going to be, obviously it's a tough time to come into the Celtics because, I mean, by the time he takes over, they might be 2-time defending champions, and you've got to come in and make decisions about what to do with the roster. Do you pay $500 million in luxury tax and salary, or do you make significant changes to a team that's just won back-to-back titles, or, come close to it probably. So it's not an easy time to do it. I don't know what he will do, but I do suspect that he has a plan and how to approach it. Not necessarily like who to go after, who they should get, whatever, but like a number he's willing to get to, and that this, like he's not going to go into it blind and be surprised by the situation they're in. He knows all about it, and he's got some time to plan for what they're doing this summer.
Well, let's be honest. Is there any owner in the NBA that would pay that tax and apron? Like,
Probably not.
Yeah. So, like,
honestly,
so it's, in my opinion, it's unfair if this guy comes in and does what you would do, what I would do, what anyone. I wouldn't pay it. Like, I'm not naive enough to think I'd pay that. Do you? What I'm trying to say is that it will be unfair of Celtics fans if this guy takes over the team and has to make changes based on that luxury tax, and people go, "Oh, look at this cheap owner." Like, I don't think there's an owner in the NBA that would do that.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that he's a cheap owner if he's doing that.
No.
They're going to be paying a lot in luxury tax no
Exactly.
matter what. Like,
yeah, but it's getting to the point where it's absurd. Like that you can't. I can't imagine a world where I would do it. No. What about Wick Grossbeck and how long does he get to pretend to be in charge?
So the current arrangement has him staying on through, I believe, the 2027-28 season. And in the press release or whatever, they said that he would stay on as, I believe they said CEO and governor. And so obviously that's going to be an interesting situation, because we saw a similar thing happen in Dallas where Mark Cuban sold the franchise, thought he was going to stay on as the leader of basketball operations. And then a year and a half, 2 years later, they traded Luka Doncic without his blessing. And so obviously he fell out of power there quickly. They didn't kind of stick to the plan that he thought they were going to. And
he owned the team even. Like Wick Grossbeck, as it turns out, didn't even own really the team. Why, in your opinion, why does he want to hang around after someone else buys it?
I would want to hang around, right?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to be a figurehead. I mean,
Jay,
the rug kind of got pulled out from under him a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
And I would say this too, Jay. If there are going to be some really unpopular decisions made based on the salaries and the taxes and everything, that if I were the new owner, I would say to Wick or anyone else who really wanted to stay around, it's like, okay, get out there and tell everybody.
Oh, sure.
And don't you dare say this wasn't your decision. You're in charge of this team still, at least in name. So go out there and face the firing squad, because there's almost certainly going to be some really difficult announcements that are going to have to be made here over the next year or two.
Yeah, and part of the difficulty of that depends on what they're able to do. You know, if they go out there and they have to just straight salary dump one of their starters, then yeah, it's going to look really bad. But if you're able to get creative and go out and find, helpful pieces while cutting salary and still maintaining a great supporting cast around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, then yeah, the messaging will look a little different. So I think part of it too is going to be on Brad Stevens and his front office to deal with the constraints and the limitations that they have financially, to go out there and get something done to keep a great roster around these guys.
It's going to be really tough for them to get equal value if they try and sell off some of these parts. Like, for instance, Drew Holiday. Porzingis has hurt a lot, as good as he is, and what he means to this team when he's healthy. I don't know if you can get equal value back for either one of those guys. All I'm saying is I guess I'm falling in line with the rest of this narrative, which is it's impossible to keep this the way it is, even with trades. I mean, I think, Jay, didn't we all realize the way the contracts are structured that we're going to have to get rid of Porzingis after next season anyway?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know, like, no matter what, even if you keep this group together, it's going to be impossible to keep it the same as it is, because Drew Holiday is getting older. Al Horford is 38, going to be 39 soon. How much longer can he realistically play at this high a level? So even if you keep everybody together, it's not necessarily going to look the same a year from now, 2 years from now. So I think, to some extent, making some changes. I'm not saying they're going to get better from making changes, but to some extent, if you can go out and get a little younger, a little more athletic, if you do get rid of Porzingis, say, get somebody who's more available, then there are ways that you could benefit from shaking up this roster. But I'm with you, like, talent-wise, they're not going to be the same as they are this year if they do have to make significant changes, and I suspect they will, because the number in luxury tax and salary that they're looking at is pretty much untenable.
All right. Well, look, Jay King, read all about it in The Athletic. He does a deep dive into this new owner's life. It's pretty interesting. Jay, thank you for the time, sir.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Jay.
appreciate it. All right, so we have a in-studio guest coming up, Mercedes Mone, but we don't know anything really about wrestling. We're not big wrestling fans, any of the three of us. We tried for the Calhoun crew, and the problem with this is that WrestleMania is right on the horizon. Now, have they left for WrestleMania?
if I remember correctly, today is the day they were leaving or something along those lines,
Is-
right?
is that
They
true?
go out today, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was told by Joe Murray. That's why
Okay.
he was unable to join us this morning.
So they're going out to Vegas, and it's this weekend, but they get out there early for the pre-event festivities.
Yes.
So
there's the meet and greet. There's belt signings. There's all sorts of things.
because everyone knows when Joe Murray's in studio with a female wrestler, there's just magic in the air. He floats to the woman like a pie on a windowsill, like from a cartoon. But we did as good as we could do, and we got my man by name Bird.
Sweet, yes.
And so Bird is here, and he will help us with the interview. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins wrap up their season tonight against New Jersey. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers will have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The play-in rounds of the NBA playoffs begin tonight. Orlando hosts Atlanta in the early game. The winner comes to TD Garden to play the Celtics on Sunday. Former Patriots tight end Don Hasselbeck died yesterday. He was 70 years old. Tampa Bay beat the Red Sox last night 16-1 in the opener of a 3-game series down in Florida. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports
Bird, hi.
Hi, Fred. How are you?
You get that mic right in front of your face there, professional. You've been in radio for a long time. Now,
my voice project out there, but I guess not. Go ahead.
Project, but not project. But so, Bird, how's everything going?
Everything's going great, Fred. How about you?
Good. Things are going well. You invited Hardy out to a lunch or dinner.
Lunch. So, can I explain what happened?
Yeah.
Last Sunday, my girlfriend and I were sitting there. She goes, I want to go on a double date. I'm like, okay. I want to go with either Hardy or Fred. I'm like, what? All right. So I walk.
Jesus. The hell, Bird?
And it was her idea. So she goes, I want to call Fred. I'm like, I'm not giving you his phone number. I'm sorry. You can DM him. I go, I'll hit up Hardy. You hit up Fred. I guarantee you Hardy will hit me back first. She's like, and so we made a little side bet. I hit up Hardy. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I waited like maybe 20 minutes. He responded. You didn't respond to my girlfriend, Jamie Lee.
She DM'd me on
Instagram.
On Instagram?
Yes.
So first of all, I can't go. That's not a good way to get in touch with me.
No, I know.
Why didn't you let her text me? Are you making this up?
No, I'm not making this up.
So Jamie really wanted to hang out with Fred.
Yes, Fred and you, because we had a conversation previously that's saying that, hey, if you're in blonde.
All right, I don't know how to do this.
I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it.
All right. Okay. Well, look.
And me and Hardy went on a double date. It was great. Went to CF McCarthy's, and we just chit-chatted, had a drink. Hardy made fun of me because I had an umbrella in my drink.
However, though, according to Hardy, and this is one side of the story, his wife and your girlfriend, fiance, girlfriend, got along better than you two did.
Well, the thing was is Hardy didn't have really any story. He just said that you had a good girlfriend.
Yes.
So there was really no story to it. I mean, it was just that you had a good girlfriend.
Other than I had prepped Marcy ahead of time, because had you met her before?
Who, Jamie? Oh, Marcy? No.
Had you met your girlfriend before
Had you met your
dinner?
girlfriend before we went out to lunch with you and your girlfriend?
You know, Adam threw it out there that you were engaged yesterday.
No.
Had you met my wife before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I didn't think so. So, I proposed this to her. She said, sure. And she's like, so who is this now? Because she hasn't listened to the show a lot. And I was trying to describe. I said, I have no idea who his girlfriend is, anything, but I'm like, Bird. I love him and I've known him for a long time and he's a great guy, but you don't know how people are going to get along with other people, right? Mm-hmm. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But she loved meeting you and obviously really loved talking with your girlfriend. So
All
it was
right.
very nice. But there was one thing.
Yeah. I want to get to this.
Bird was upset about something.
Yes, I was.
And he wanted to talk about it when he first got here and I said, no. Save it. And then he started to mention it during the break. I said, no, save it. So, Bird, the floor is yours.
So, last time I was in here, I had a nice little chat with Nick. And I said, basically, hey, you should do like an intro and outro. Like, oh, Toucher and Hardy. Aren't those silly clowns funny? Or, oh, Toucher and Hardy. Those silly gooses. We'll be right back after this segment.
Mm-hmm. And they sound like this.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
I guess it's
right.
time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
So,
Bird has gotten very red. So did you claim that those ideas were yours?
No, plot twist. It was Adam's.
Oh, so Adam stole them from Bird?
I wasn't aware of the fact that I stole him, Bird. I wasn't privy to that conversation.
No, he wasn't privy to that conversation.
Whoa, so you guys have
a twist
parallel
on the
thinking.
twist.
Oh, wow.
Wait, you're saying I have parallel thinking with Bird?
Yes, I mean,
That's a
obviously.
compliment or not?
I don't. You have to interpret it the way you interpret it. But if you both came up with the same idea around the same time,
I mean,
without speaking to each other,
Bird's a Curry College graduate. I taught there for a time, so maybe there's a whole situation.
Oh, maybe you actually had this as part of your instruction. You don't remember, and
perhaps.
Okay.
Now, Bird, you didn't have Adam as an instructor, correct?
No. This is way
No.
a lot after
You
I
would have
graduated.
been there before I was there as an adjunct going in. And
Yeah,
out.
I graduated in 04.
Guest lecturer, actually.
An adjunct professor.
Guest lecturer. I corrected that. It's not. It was adjunct.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
All right, so are you a big wrestling fan?
Yeah. Not like Jay Stu, but yeah, I know what's going on.
Well, I mean, Jay Stu's in the business.
Yeah,
Jay Stu's not is not just a wrestling fan. He's in the business.
Yeah, I saw him on NXT one night ago. Yeah.
Where was he?
They came to, I think it was.
No, but where was he in the arena?
Oh, he was like backstage, just like us, like right here, and a wrestler came by, gave him like a.
And it was on TV.
Yes.
Wow.
So Jay Stu was backstage at some wrestling. Now the NXT is like a
developmental.
Okay.
For WWE.
And it was on television.
Yes.
Jay Stu was really backstage.
Yeah. And I think the wrestler was Braun Breaker. He did like one, like, oh, what's up? And he was just put his hands up like, oh.
So Jay Stu likes wrestling so much, he somehow was able to ingratiate him into the world of wrestling enough where he is like backstage and on TV.
Yes.
Because we saw him at that one wrestling event that was at the Aganis Center. And he had his own like cage.
Yeah, your own area. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. So
Away
he
from
was
the
not only
ringside.
ringside,
Yep.
he was like had barriers between him and everything else.
Yeah.
Like I'd never seen that fashion for anyone, celebrity or otherwise.
It was right next to the ramp. I just by himself, no one there. Yeah.
Put me in a cage. You can't cage this lion. I was backstage at NXT.
Brutality. I bet Nick wants to put Jay Stu through a table.
Yeah, they're not getting along.
Yeah.
All right, so is the wrestler here is
I believe so.
Our friend here, Mercedes Mone. What's the deal?
En route. Should be here pretty soon. We have them en route.
Okay, very good. So Mercedes Mone, who used to be what?
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks from the WWE.
Correct.
Right.
And apparently she was part of some kind of crew with Becky Lynch. And what do we know about Becky Lynch?
Real hot on Freddie T.
That came up with my Facebook memories. That was like 8 years ago on the 11th.
Yeah. Becky Lynch, if you recall, while she was in the Brighton studios, we were on television, and it was a big brouhaha because she was biting her lip. Like while she was talking to me, she was biting her lower lip, which is the sign of great seduction.
A telltale sign. It is.
It is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She's playing with her hair and
Playing
biting
with her
lip.
hair. Was she looking away? Was she perspiring?
I could show you. I still have it in my email. In my personal email, I have a like a little video of it that plays to and fro. Becky Lynch. She was obviously I charmed her to
It's
the
one of
degree.
those boomerangs where it kind of like loops up.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Put that
they're
on
called.
put that on your Instagram.
Share
That'll
that.
get you
There
some
you go.
followers. That's good
I've done that a
content.
bunch of times. I've already done that.
Time to recycle it.
All right. Well, I don't know how. To be
That's
honest
okay.
with
We'll
you.
show you in the post-show meeting.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, if all goes as planned, Mercedes Mone will be in here, and we will have Bird in here to help with the interview. And Jay Stu is on a plane out to Vegas, so they can go meet Virgil as he does
just
the
passed away.
signing.
He passed away.
Oh, that's
Oh,
too bad.
jeez.
Now you've done it.
R.I.P. Virgil. I appreciate it. Now, who is carrying the briefcase of Diamond Dallas Page? Oh, it wasn't Diamond Dallas Page. It was the $1 Million Man.
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, who's carrying DiBiase's?
They did bring it back for a little bit a couple of years ago. It was L.A. Knight who had the belt, and I forget the other kid.
It's not the belt so much; it's the briefcase. Virgil was the attaché of the of one.
Yeah, the belt
of one Diamond, not Diamond Dallas Page, the $1 Million
Man. Yep.
$1 Million Man. You know what I liked about Big John Studd?
What?
He's Stud. You know?
Yeah.
I like that he was studly. That's what I liked about the guy. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, look, if you're
Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins season will come to an end tonight at TD Garden. Game 82 is against New Jersey. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers will bring it to you one last time here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Get the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7. Celtics will find out tonight who their first-round playoff opponent's going to be. Atlanta visits Orlando with the winner coming to TD Garden on Sunday. Former Patriots tight end Don Hasselbeck died yesterday at the age of 70. And a bad week of Red Sox baseball continued last night in Tampa. They got run over by the Rays 16-1. The Sox have lost 6 of 8. They continue their 3-game series in Tampa tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Celebrate Easter this Saturday and Sunday at the 9s and enjoy delicious menu specials like the pan-roasted lemon caper swordfish. You gotta love the 9s. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your day.
Your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
The latest addition to the AEW roster. She is the CEO of AEW, Mercedes Mone. As a member of the Chaotic family, who's the only sure thing in wrestling?
There's only one sure thing in wrestling, and you're looking at her.
Oh!
Mercedes Mone.
That is Mercedes Money. She's a multiple-time world champion. She's a future.
And James, make sure you say it right. It's Mercedes Mone. Okay.
Mercedes Mone.
That is our own Jay Stu, who somehow ingratiated himself into the world of wrestling.
But then undid it all by saying Monet as opposed to Mane.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mane, which is good to know. He effed it up.
Yeah, he did.
How the hell did James Stewart get you on the phone?
Exactly. How?
Okay, I have a question. Okay, so Mercedes Monet. Monet.
We call it money.
Money, thank you.
I like to
the
make
same
that
mistake.
money.
I apologize. I'm going to screw it up, man. And it's no disrespect.
But what do you like to make? Do you like to make money?
Friends.
Oh, okay.
Fellowship.
That's nice.
Money means nothing to me. That's why I'm in
Money
radio.
means everything to me. Money changes everything.
It does. It does. Especially when you get divorced, you give lots of it away. AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision are coming this Wednesday and Thursday. There are 2 shows. This is the power of the AEW.
Yes.
Is that there are 2 shows to MGM Music Hall. Tickets are available at AEWTIX.com. Oh, the entourage is interested in you.
Wow.
Miss Mone came in. She has a full entourage.
I got my money team with me, absolutely.
Yes, and everyone else is dressed appropriately for this hour. You, I'm impressed that you put on.
Memo.
Yeah, no, you put. You're
good.
dressed for people on the radio. You are dressed in a like a sequined jacket.
Yep.
Your hair is perfect. You're obviously very attractive.
I think you're dressed how Bill Belichick's girlfriend aspires to
Oh,
dress.
yeah. I've seen pictures of that.
I think you have attained the level that she one day hopes to reach.
She's trying too hard, though.
I absolutely hope everybody wants to be a CEO of their own lives. I'm just doing my CEO life on a daily. This is
Okay.
who I am.
All right. So you have a bunch of belts in front of you. Are these are of wonder to people? People who can watch this on YouTube. These are all your wrestling belts?
These are all my wrestling titles. We have the United Kingdom British Championship from Rev Pro. I'll be defending these titles April 20th, so that's either Saturday or Sunday in the UK. And then I am the TBS champion, which you can watch every Wednesday on TBS, AEW Dynamite. And now I am the New Japan Strong Women's champion, which is New Japan.
All right, let's review all of this. Yeah. Okay, so you have 2 shows this week in Boston. Now, you live in Boston.
I am from Boston.
You're
I
from
live in Orlando now, but I am up in Boston every other week because my mom and my brother are still here.
Okay, cool. So you are in Boston. So you're performing this week in Boston, which is obviously probably very special to you because of your ties here and everything.
It's home.
And then you go to the UK.
I leave on Friday to the UK. Yep.
All right. How many days a year are you on the road?
Ooh, maybe 300 days out of the year.
Okay, because you wrestlers, it's like unlike any other entertainment business.
Absolutely, yes.
It's unbelievable
It's year-round. We have no off seasons. We wrestle weekly. We travel weekly to different states, countries, everywhere. It doesn't matter.
At what point can you heal? Like, at what point does because you guys are obviously.
Is this wood? Knock on wood. The only time you get to have any breaks is when you actually get injured or have like a little mishap. Is when you get to go home and take some time off to heal your wounds. But other than that, I'm wrestling every day with a hurt piece of my body. Something's hurting me, but it's something that I love to do, and I try like every single day to have the best recovery for myself.
Was that like something you had to learn as you started out, the difference between being hurt and being injured, and Absolutely. What you could actually,
and mostly just the recovery part of it all. Like, you have to do yoga, you have to stretch after your matches. All the time after my matches, I'm so sore, I'm so tightened up, and I'm like, don't sit in pain, Mercedes. Go stretch right now so you can rest. Go do some salt baths, meditate, get your mind right before you go back to sleep, and your body all tightens up again. You have to take care of yourself.
Do you do the cold plunges?
I hate the cold plunges, but yes.
Okay. I'm very good at those. I'm very good at those. How
long can you last?
Oh, a tremendous amount of time. Very impressive. When I go to the gym's locker room and I am in the cold plunge, let's just say people they respect. They respect what's going on.
Yeah.
It's freaking.
It's longer than 2 minutes.
I can do 6, 7. I go all day.
Mercedes, he's so good at it. He will go to the gym specifically to cold plunge and do nothing else.
Awesome.
Well, listen. When you're already shrunk. When you're already in a constant state of shrinkage.
Nowhere to go.
Exactly. Your body's. It's like I'm cold all the time.
Yeah.
Does he understand?
Our own John Wallach will be in the UK at the same time you will be over there. What type of VIP celebrity status could you grant him for your match and treat him as the way he has become accustomed?
I mean, it's not going to be in London. It's going to be in Doncaster. So if you want to make a nice little 2-hour drive from London there, we can get you beautiful VIP tickets.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes,
looking
front
forward
row.
to it. Yeah.
Ready?
Well,
let's go.
Jump in the money train?
Oh, I'm
on
board.
Make Chase do very nice. Now, how do you, if you're on the road 300 days a year, do you have to have relationships with other wrestlers?
The most part, a lot of people have relationships with wrestlers, yes, because it's the same field. It's what we do. It's only wrestlers can understand what wrestlers do.
Yeah.
Being gone for so long, the hurt of your body, just being a character. So yeah, there's a lot of love in AEW.
Okay, so right, because you guys are on the road together. Because have you tried to have a relationship outside of wrestling, and it's just impossible?
I haven't tried because I have no time.
Right.
To try.
Right.
Yes, I haven't tried.
But you've never met anyone and been like, wow, this is someone I could fall in love with, and then my career unfortunately is taking me away from them.
No. Not when you are a champion of 4 titles. This is my love right now.
Okay.
This is my baby. This is my.
And you always wanted to do this. You've always wanted to be.
I've always wanted to be a wrestler since I was 10 years old.
Okay, so you were 10 years old, and you were in the Boston area when you were 10 years.
I was in Iowa at the time.
Okay, so take us through. Okay, so you're not. When did you come to Boston already?
I came to Boston when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
From Iowa, but I was watching. We had no cable. We had nothing, and I was just scrolling through the channels one day at 2 in the morning, and SmackDown came on TV, and I was like, "What is this? This is so interesting. This is so different, especially being a woman watching this or a little girl." And my mom came into the room and she said, "Please turn this off. This is terrible. You need to go to bed. You can't be watching wrestling at 2 in the morning." But there was just something that just captivated me to want this, to do this. So I went into my brother's room, turned back on wrestling, and just instantly fell in love. And this light just came into my soul. It was like, this is your soul calling, Mercedes. You're going to be a professional wrestler one day. And then I turned 18, went up to North Andover in Massachusetts and joined the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Nice. After that, I got signed to WWE, and I was with them for 10 years. And now I'm with AEW as the TPS champion.
Okay, what did they do at the Wrestling Academy? They
teach you the basics of wrestling. They teach you the foundations of wrestling, how to fall, how to hit the ropes, how to body slam somebody, how to suplex somebody.
How bad does it hurt at first? Even hitting the ropes.
The ropes hurt so
right, because that's
bad.
the thing. You don't think as someone who doesn't never been in there.
You have to force your whole body against these ropes so they can push you off. So you can either hit a flying tackle, a flying clothesline, or you're just propelling yourself off the rope so you can hit the other ropes on the other side. My first week of training, I had bruises all over my body just from the ropes alone.
Did you have some notion that you would be into this? Were you a tomboy as like a little girl? Did you like to play rough?
Tomboy as a little girl.
Because you're very feminine.
Yeah.
You have a whole feminine thing
till
happening.
I was born in California, but it wasn't till I moved to Iowa and I lived with my auntie and her son. Really taught me about being this tomboy life. He loved race car driving. We went to the cornfields. He taught me about hunting.
The big hick.
Yeah, a really big hillbilly in Iowa. And that's where I really got more of my tomboy-esque into it. But I've always been somebody that's always wanted to stand up for myself. And if you're going to mess with me, I'm going to fight back. And that's just my nature.
Okay, so you go to this academy and they teach you how to do it. You know you're athletic enough to do it. You're obviously a beautiful woman, and that helps in the wrestling world, I would assume. And so what is the next step from there? So you're at this wrestling academy now. Are there like scouts out there? How do you put yourself out there for other people?
There's scouts everywhere in wrestling, but for me, my goal and my dream was to go to Mexico and Japan and just level up to get my name recognized in the world of wrestling. But WWE would come in town, and every time they were in town, I would email them and be like, hey, if you guys need any extras or, a hand backstage, I would love to be a part of it. I got an email back being like, yes, you can be an extra. And I was an extra about 3 to 5 times. So every time I went and they saw me, I always try to level up or always try to take whatever criticism they gave me so I can be better and just so that I'm adaptable to them. And then one day, William Regal called me and said, hey, we want to give you a week-long tryout with the WWE down in Tampa, Florida. So this is your chance and opportunity. So at 19, I went down to Tampa, had a week-long tryout with some of the biggest names that you see today. Sami Zayn was in my tryout. Nice. Who else was in my tryout? Dax, who's in AEW, was in my tryout. Angelo Dawkins was in my tryout, who is in the WWE. So many people who were selected in that tryout. And
what's the tryout? Like what happens there? It's
a week long of just conditioning, hitting the ropes, doing rollings, going to 4 different rings and just being burnt out to see if you can make it.
How much of it is performance? Like how much are you graded on your like performance outside of?
It's all about performance. It's all about looks and adaptability. If you can be coachable.
Because the technicality part can be fixed or improved upon, but it's like, do you have that presence about you?
Yes, and do you have that passion, that drive,
right.
that no-say attitude? It's all about that energy that you bring into the room.
So do you know James Stewart?
I know of James Stewart, my good friend Mark Sherman.
Okay, now do you go to the Kowloon while you're in town?
Of course, I always go to Kowloons. Okay. Hello, Andy.
All right, so Andy, what's
always takes care of me.
What's the because you lived here.
Yes.
What is the magnetic pull of the Kowloon in the wrestling?
That poo-poo platter.
Right.
It's
very
brown.
brown.
That beef teriyaki sticks.
Saugus wings. Can't forget
Saugus wings. You can't go wrong. And it's just the energy that Andy brings to the table. Like, he is just so welcoming. He hosts all the wrestlers. He hosts so many people who come into the city, and he just makes it feel like home for us.
Would you go to the Kowloon before you were a wrestler
Yes,
to like kind of like
to
I
can
find?
look at the pictures all around and be like, I hope I can be on here one day.
Isn't it weird? I always say there's one super unique thing about like New England that it has that no one else has. Is a gigantic Chinese restaurant that every wrestler goes to. Yeah, in the middle of like this garbage road.
That's weird too.
In the middle of garbage, it's got this big ass Chinese restaurant that's always full. That by the way is tied to wrestling.
It's not a barbecue joint that like rodeo guys go to in Dallas. That would make that you can kind of connect the dots there.
It's a cool place because sometimes they have comedy night, karaoke night. It's a good family fun restaurant.
No, you don't have to pay there, I would imagine.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I don't even have to pay at the Kowloon. Do you leave a tip or do you just walk out?
I always leave a tip.
Okay, you
Absolutely.
do. Now, you are traveling with a massive entourage, and some of them are filming you. Now, do they film everywhere you go?
Yeah, we need to capture every moment of the day. It's it's beautiful.
It's exhausting.
It's something that I want to look back at, knowing this journey that I've been on.
You can make your own documentary, too.
Absolutely. There you go.
Well, of course, she's making her own documentary. Now, are these your like childhood friends, or are these people that you picked up along?
I have my assistant. I have someone that helps me with my social media. I have my advocate here. I have.
What's an advocate?
My advocate. He's my number one person that advocates for me. He believes in me. He pushes me. He drives me, and he's there to lead me to my whole new life.
I gotta get one of those.
I've never heard.
Everybody needs an advocate in
On
their life.
staff.
Now,
Yes.
do you pay these out of your own? Are these employees of
These
yours?
are my employees. Yes.
Wow. That is impressive.
Thank you.
And they travel with you everywhere?
Everywhere I go.
Wow. Overseas, they will be in the UK.
They'll be in the UK with me. Yeah.
And the AEW doesn't pay for that. You pay for that.
No, we have AEW help us with that. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Tony Khan. We appreciate you. We
Tony
love you.
Khan, who is the Jacksonville Jaguars
And the owner of
owner's son.
AEW.
And the owner of AEW.
Yeah.
That's right. He's the owner of the AEW. And the AEW is red hot right now.
It's so red hot. We are here for 2 nights, tomorrow night and Thursday, for AEW Dynamite and Collision on Thursday for Spring Breakthrough. I'm going to be performing and wrestling against Athena, who is the longest Ring of Honor champion of all time. She's held this title for over 800 days. Wow. Insane. And she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. So I have goosebumps for tomorrow. It's been one of my dream matches. Before I even made it to the WWE, I had my eyes on Athena. So this is something for me that I'm really, really excited for.
800 days is long enough.
800 days is long enough. You know, I have 4 titles and people say that's enough. Like, that's too much. I think holding a title for 800 days, you're holding that a little ransom, but I'm about to slap some money taste into her mouth tomorrow.
All right. What about the fabulous Moolah?
What about her? Yeah, she held it to way too long.
Yes, the fabulous Moolah. She was
Over
not
like
so
1,000
attractive.
days. No, she wasn't.
She was not very attractive.
No.
The women wrestlers back then were could be described as unattractive, and now
Some of them were beautiful, but some of them had just that fight to them.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Like in the '70s, they didn't seem so much to care about
You know,
that.
but back in the day when people were 30, they kind of looked like they were 70.
Absolutely.
You know? It's
That
a
is
whole
absolutely
new,
true.
Day and age.
All right. Well, listen, Bird, you were here? Or did
He
you
has,
have any?
he has questions written down.
Look at
All
that.
right,
I like that. It's not typed out. It's personalized.
Well, listen. He's a college graduate, by the way. Go ahead, Bird.
Did you get your gear out of the customs yet? I saw you
No,
tweet
but
yesterday.
it's gonna be coming soon.
Wait, you got gear?
good.
You got gear customs?
Yes, I had gear made in France. It was supposed to be here last Thursday, and I got that notification that it's stuck in custom and that they needed my social security, my EIN. I'm like, what?
You got to be
Your
very careful
advocate
about
on
that.
this.
Yeah. What?
I got my assistant on it, and it's
Okay.
taken care of.
All right. Well,
So we will have my gear.
well, I hope the advocate at least kept your spirits up during the process.
It always does.
All right, and Bird, one final question. So pick a good one.
So you're in the Owen Hart tournament.
I am.
Huh?
Owen Hart tournament.
Okay.
All right.
It's a tournament
The
AEW
Owen
has
Hart
every
Foundation.
year.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
You're saying it as if we all know.
I'm sorry.
Talk to us like we're idiots. Like it's a mirror.
So you're in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament.
Yes.
You defeated, I forgot her name, in the first round.
Good question.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God! Now you're making me
Jesus Christ, Bird. What is the question?
I defeated Julia Hart in the
Okay,
first
here
round.
we go.
Listen, there's 300 matches
Last
a
week,
year.
I had a pay-per-view against Julia Hart. She's a former TBS champion, and I defeated her in the first round.
Okay.
And now I am facing Athena tomorrow.
Was that your question? Who did you defeat in the first round?
No, it's the Owen Hart tournament. If she wins this whole thing, she gets the chance to be the AEW Women's Heavyweight
Okay.
Champion.
All right.
That's all.
Heavyweight champion.
I'm coming for title number 5.
Is there a lower weight class than heavyweight?
No, that's the AEW Women's World Title is pretty much the most grandest title in
Right,
AEW.
right,
I
right.
mean, I think I hold the grandest with the TBS title just by the way that I'm carrying it. I am the greatest TBS champion of all time.
Well.
But I'm all about the gold. I'm all about the money, and I want more championship gold. So if I win this Owen Hart tournament, I get to go on to All In Texas and, possibly beat. I will beat Tony Storm.
Nice.
Okay, well,
All right,
these
there you go.
are big promises.
And she's cousin
So-
with Snoop Dogg, too.
Yep, I saw
Yes,
that.
everybody knows that.
Yes, everyone knows that. It was a
think
very
everyone-
obvious question. I didn't want to bother her with that.
Oh, boy.
Of course, she was in Iowa. Of course, she's cousins with Snoop Dogg.
Right, that's a good guess.
Connect the dots.
I mean, we all had the.
We got to use the corn for something, right?
We all had the, the chronic. All right, Mercedes Mone.
Got it.
Not bad.
How about
Well
that?
done.
AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision are coming to the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston on Wednesday, April 16th and Tuesday, April 17th, respectively. For ticket, I like how it says that. Tickets for both shows available at AEWTIX.com. What a treat to meet you. Congratulations on all the success. Anyone from Boston that's had any success very rare. And congratulations being
Thank
the
you so
exception to the
much.
rule. Exception to the rule. We will be back in just a moment.
You're listening to weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub. Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
All right. We are Toucher and Hardy. If you want to get in touch with us, you can go to 985thesportshub.com. If you want our email addresses, they're up there. And you can follow us at Toucher and Hardy. At Fred Toucher has had a big spike right now, as of today. When I'm advertising it at different hours, whole different audience.
That's the key.
So you get a few followers, did you?
Yes, I got a lot.
Enough to put you over the magic number?
You're still at 24.8. I mean, it couldn't have been a huge jump.
It takes a while for the masses to get what's going on. I mean, I have my whole analytic team.
And Hardy, can we please celebrate the small wins too, please? Thank you.
Okay, you're
Thank
right.
you.
You're right. I should
just like him with McElroy yesterday. Nothing's good enough for him.
There it is.
Yeah.
By the way, Riz, our boy Riz, he goes, "It's your boy Riz. Never forget, Fred, why didn't you guys take a picture with Mercedes holding her up and you holding 95% of her body weight like you did with the last wrestler chick who was the last wrestler girl was mean." Yeah. And she had me, Joe, and someone else hold her. And I've shown Hardy the picture. This was not a small woman. And one person had like a foot. Yeah. And then Joe he was floating. He had like one hand on her. And I'm like holding her entire like upper body.
Just to put it in perspective, this woman was what, 5'11", 190 pounds, something like that.
Of muscle. Like she was like she was in good
jacked.
shape,
Oh,
but
yeah.
she was like super muscular, right?
Yes.
And so like I had to sit there holding her, and she's like, "You can't hold me?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. No, I can't curl 400 pounds, lady. I don't know how to do it." And I did not like that. But thank you, Riz, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
It still bothers me to this day. I believe I showed the guys when we knew we were getting Mone. We talked about it, and Nick brought up the picture of us holding the other wrestler. I didn't care for her. It was like Air Force Amy or something like that. I don't know.
But Mercedes, disarmingly polite, nice, and you know there's a violent undercurrent there. You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Watch your step, Walt.
Yeah. She's got 4 title belts, you know? They're gone now.
Oh, she took them.
She took them.
All right.
So 4 title belts, though. So,
yeah, it's very
of course.
impressive. Podcast description. Who's in charge of that? Is that Nicholas?
Nicholas is in charge of the
I
podcast.
think that's right.
Email from Brandon. Hey, guys, started my day with your show as always, and I give the description of the pod a glimpse to see what we're talking about today. I thought a baseball record was set last night. The headline says, Marvel Cinematic Universe / Rays Pound Sox 61-1 / huge WNBA news. So, Nicholas, do you know about? You're fixing it right now?
Yeah, he's in the middle of fixing it.
It'd be historic.
Okay,
All right, it's
thank
fixed.
you.
There you go. It's fixed.
I appreciate that.
We have leftover emails in connection to the Rory McIlroy argument.
Very controversial.
Yes, leave it to Hardy to ruin a great finish. Nobody cares who watches golf, fact.
Controversy.
We all tuned in yesterday and loved it. His fake/hardo mentality is a waste of time. Great event, great win. He won by winning it. All his misses were horrible, and all of his makes were gimmies. Loser mentality. Winning is winning.
What? I don't even know what they're trying to say. Who is this?
This is Dave, who emails frequently. And for some reason, this is about you, but he emailed just me. And I don't understand why that is. But the point is that you ruined a great thing that Rory McIlroy did.
Well, if you're so
by
mentally
taking.
feeble that what I thought about it somehow affects your enjoyment of it, that's on you, Dave, number one. But number two, it is 100% okay in my, and I think everyone's book, to judge quality of wins. If the win is just the thing, then check the scores the next day. You don't have to watch it take place. You can just find out who won and say, I feel great about that, and be done with it. But if you were watching that final round on Sunday, and it was fantastic television, it was great entertainment. It was the proverbial roller coaster, but it was not a wire-to-wire dominant, I'm going to go out there, put my foot on the neck of the competitors, and take this thing because it's mine. I'm going to fall apart multiple times throughout the round. I'm going to make double bogey twice throughout the round. And instead of snatching it away from the jaws of defeat when I'm up 4 strokes, I'm then going to double down and lose the lead and somehow get myself into a playoff with a guy who had played himself out of the tournament the day before and win it on 2 good shots.
And by the way, any great golfer, any competitive golfer is constantly reassessing his game. Anybody who's any good at this and wants to compete at that level doesn't just throw that round away and say, thank God I won. You replay every shot.
And it's possible for me to be happy about Rory getting the career Grand Slam, but an honest, authentic reaction was, I'm happy that he won, but I'm not happy, nor I believe is he going to be happy with the way he played in that final round. He shot a 73.
Well, I heard him talking, and he's plenty happy. Believe me. He admits he was nervous.
Oh, did you talk to him on the phone?
Did I say talk to him?
No, you said you heard him talk, but in front of reporters, of course he's going to put that out there. I'm talking about in the wee hours. When you're thinking about things.
Yeah. So you're saying what's going on in your brain is more accurate
what's
than what
going
he said.
on in his brain and what he knows to be the truth. And what
it sounded pretty sincere that he said, he goes, look, I was really nervous. And he said, one of the things that helped me was the double bogey to start the round, because then I started to like have a different mentality. And I know he screwed up from there.
Yeah. How about the double on 13?
Maybe it was the double on 13. He said that.
How about the bogey to follow it up on 14?
Yeah, but whatever. He admitted to being nervous. I think it's a huge thing off his back. Maybe this will change your mind. Dan says, if Rory won the playoff hole with a bogey and Rose got a double bogey, then Hardy would have a point. And then he says in capitals, I will not yell. He birdied after blowing the putt. So he did birdie that last hole to win the tournament. So does that affect you in any way?
No, because he had a chance to win the tournament on the 72nd hole. All you got to do is 123 yards out. Just hit the green. Hit the green with your approach, and it's over. It's done. Instead, he puts it in the bunker, and instead of getting up and out, this is the same guy who holed out a bunker shot. He and Colin Morikawa did it in the same pairing a couple of years ago at the Masters from that exact same spot. He's a guy who's capable of making that shot. Not only does he, okay, so you're not expected to make it, fine. You leave yourself a 4-foot putt, and you blow that thing. It was not an impressive win. I'm impressed with him overall. He's one of the greatest golfers of all time. But was that an impressive final round for Rory? No. Anyone who says that it didn't watch.
No. But beyond that, you think it will haunt him the way he played?
I think if he was trying to do 2 things. Number 1, win, which he did, and you can't take that away from him. And I won't. It's not. He won it. Okay. But if the other thing he was trying to do as a distant second was prove that he is in fact a closer and there are no demons left for him in Augusta. No, he didn't prove that.
See, I think that the win, now all the pressure's off. It's not because now that he's won, it's the pressure is off. I certainly don't think he'll be playing the same mental games in his head anymore as he goes on. They're certainly not going to be as severe because again, he could go out and shoot 120 one round and everyone will go, wow, it's funny he shot 120. But he still has won the Masters. That's the way my brain works. Is like if I had achieved it, now it doesn't matter. Like now you've done what you had to do. Anything after this is gravy. Like he was obviously tortured by his inability to win the tournament. Now that that's over, certainly some of that mental crap that he admits to having will go away. You would think. Just the internal arguing while you're on the course, like having to keep yourself. Like keep all those thoughts out of your head, because even if you have them now, there's a safety net. You guys have to do this in your own lives. Like if you've already got something, and then everything else after it is gravy. One thing that helps me, I go, what's the worst thing that could happen?
But in the moment, in the specific detail of the moment, he might have a safety net if he has the lead and he tells himself, you know what, I can blow it and win this thing in a playoff. But I don't think he proved that he can be the guy coming from 4 strokes back.
But it doesn't matter anymore.
Put the hammer down
But the thing is, it doesn't matter anymore because now when he gets interviewed, there's no more questions about the Masters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And just to me,
a lot of the noise is gone.
Yeah. To me, that being not part of the narrative anymore that's where the relief comes from. Not how and look, he didn't play well the last round. He didn't. It's inarguable. He didn't play well the last round. But to me, that relief of finally getting that conversation over with that's what I saw when that putt went in on the playoff hole, is that true relief. And by the way, that to me might be the only time I truly enjoyed the end of a golf tournament. How about that? I was happy I was home to watch it.
We have viewership numbers for the Masters.
Yeah, like 9.5 million or something.
Peaked at 19.5.
Oh, 19.9.
Wow.
Beat every NBA Finals game last year and could become the most watched Masters since 2015.
And I take it that was a Tiger situation in 2015?
I can't remember.
Or was it like a Mickelson thing? It had to be Mickelson or Tiger, right? Because no one else matters.
Yeah.
Rory, Mickelson, and Tiger.
Jordan Spieth, Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, Mickelson.
Okay.
Spieth led wire to wire, though. It's weird.
It is weird. Maybe it was a rainy day.
Yes.
Get Hardy going with golf with Maz trash-talking Scotty Scheffler. Hey, Fred, this is from Mitchell. Hey, Fred, might have something to upset Hardy. At about 2:50 yesterday, Maz was making fun of the Masters and Scotty Scheffler. Maybe have Ryan play the clip to get Hardy going. Love the show. Maybe that's something that can be dug out. I'm sorry just to be getting into it now, but
I don't know.
Yesterday was a very busy day. I was in the woods.
If you thought I was critical of Rory yesterday, check out the Felger Maz podcast from yesterday. It was a three-way beatdown of Rory in that entire tournament.
Well, that's a lot of fun.
The epic choke job between Rory and Bryson, and you could even throw in Justin Rose for his Saturday round, but at least Justin Rose showed up on Sunday and played his best round of the tournament. He said one of the best rounds of his life.
Right.
To me, that's more admirable in under the microscope of Sunday at Augusta than what Rory did Sunday.
Which is winning the tournament.
I'm more impressed with Justin Rose's final round on Sunday, him holding out a long birdie putt.
He had a better round on Sunday with far less pressure.
Yeah, 10 birdies. I mean, it was incredible.
Far less pressure. And not even the pressure of being in the lead. Just the pressure. He had no pressure on him.
Even holding out that putt on 18, he didn't have the pressure of taking the lead, did he?
I think it either put him in a tie or one off.
It got him one off.
And also if he ever glances
Which
up at a
doesn't make you
leaderboard,
gay.
yeah, he sees that Rory, has had doubles and bogeys on the card, and no one else is threatening, and Oberg is out there making triples, and so yeah, of course there's pressure on that final putt.
This is what we'll leave you with. This is off the topic of golf, unfortunately, and this is a good email that just came in like 20 minutes ago. Hey, Fred, yesterday, this is from Jay. Hey, Fred, yesterday I thought of something that made me chuckle and make you chuckle also. I was thinking of how funny it was that some random goofball kid that went to the same college as Jordan is now Eskimo brothers with the 70-something-year-old Bill Belichick. That might be the case. And wouldn't that be funny if you were in an elevator with
I don't know what Eskimo Brothers means, but I can deduce
Eskimo Brothers is you both had sex with the same woman. You're Eskimo Brothers. So that would be funny if some 23-year-old kid, drunk on Jaegers, got puke on his shirt, goes like, Bill, dude, I banged her 3 years ago.
High five.
When we were in college, man.
You were the same.
Yeah.
And you're marrying her. All right. Well, who knows? She might have been a virgin for all I know. All right. Look, we will be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins will close down a disappointing season tonight when they play New Jersey at TD.
monkey face. It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
I just realized when I looked at my bank account that it's taxed the day that they take the taxes out.
It's happened already. Maz said something yesterday as they were talking about the Masters. Someone said this is going to upset me, so let's listen.
All he had to do from 85 yards was hit it into the middle of the green.
Put it on top of the green and two putting, get out of there, and you're 4 clear, and you're moonwalking to the championship.
Okay, so this is about Rory who put his third shot in the water on 13 so far. Okay, so far nothing to.
Well, that you agree with them.
I do.
He might even make a birdie if he hits a half decent, a lob wedge, a half decent one. He has a chance to make birdie.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It was riveting.
Golfers completely crap their pants when it matters.
What? What? Where? Do they sell them? Literally?
Freaky dicky stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
You know, when people go back to duty. Hell, some of us are freaks.
Okay.
All right, it sounds like they're kind of on the same page as you, to be honest.
Yeah, there was something about Scotty Scheffler, but that wasn't it. Okay. Original Misfits performed at Coachella Saturday night, Fred.
Is there anything sadder than the rock? And I love the Misfits, and I would see them if they were around when I was out. But I really do love the Misfits. I don't even think they're funny. I actually really like them. They're one of the catchier punk bands that ever existed. In my opinion.
That's what I was going to say. If you don't know anything about them and you just hear the songs, you can appreciate them as good 3-4 minute. And don't take 2 minute, but pop songs.
Yeah, they're big Elvis influence. Danzig would tell you he's a huge Elvis influence.
Yeah,
it's like a punk band playing tight 2-minute songs with Elvis as the singer. It's I love them, but what depresses me about Coachella a little bit in these festivals in general is that they do feel this obligation to have rock acts, which is great, but there's no one from even. The Misfits became a band maybe when I was 1. They broke up when I was 7. So, there's that. There's Weezer, who are terrible. And, they're older than me. There's no one playing that's even my age. And I'm 50. Go ahead.
I have a question that's adjacent to this. So there's a lot of people complaining, because, of course, Coachella was this past weekend, complaining that they thought Green Day shouldn't have been the big headliner on Sunday. It should have been Charlie XCX.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, Green Day sold 75 million albums.
Green Day should have been the headliner.
That's my opinion.
They were paid the most.
But you could also make the counter argument of well, who's the demographic? Who's at the festival? And Charlie XCX had the biggest album of last year and is a really big artist right now.
But here's the deal: is who costs more to get to play Coachella?
Oh, it's absolutely Green Day.
By what do you say?
Probably 3 times.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah.
So they're headlining. That's the thing.
Right.
And they might say, yeah, we'll play it, but we're headlining.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's we're only playing to be.
It's a silly argument, not because I'm glad you brought it up, but it's a silly argument. I understand the reasoning. Maybe the people there would rather see her. But if you want Green Day to play, they're headlining, and you're paying them way more than anyone else.
And I guess too, you could throw in on the demographic side of it, there's Green Day and you brought up Weezer. Those are 2 bands that kids still discover. They're still entry bands, even though they've been making records for over 30 years.
No, I'm not questioning Weezer's not a good band, but I'm not.
I like Weezer. But I would agree they were a good band, and they're not a good band anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They were a good band. Yes, when I was in high school or early in college, they were a good
first
band.
album's an all-timer.
Yes, it's a great album. But here's the deal, is that I listen to Block Party and Interpol a lot. I love those bands, and they're still active. You would think but in my mind, you would think that they came out yesterday. They came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But where are they playing? Like, where are the Strokes and the Interpol and Block Party? These are great bands, Interpol and Block Party especially. And they're still active, and they're like, it seems like rock music in the minds of people ended in the early 90s. That's fair to say, correct?
Yeah. No, I think so, yeah.
And now there's like a band like The Killers that was what, late 90s, early 2000s?
That was early 2000s, yeah.
So very few past the early 90s. I mean, these are bands that were around basically when I was in high school. Green Day was around when I was in middle school. And I'm 50.
Yeah.
It's a little sad. Like, what happens when these dudes get too old to play?
Yeah,
right?
Interpol, I'm trying to think. I think Interpol put their debut album out 25 years ago. I think that was 2000. It was either 2000 or 2001.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, I listen to, like, if I'm listening to, like, a mix on Spotify, which I know is not the way you like to do it, but if I do, it's like a Block Party or Interpol mix, and, like, the Yeah, Yeah, Yeahs are on and stuff, and I realize this seems like new music to me, but it's 25 years old. It's old. Yeah. No one is listening to that kind of music anymore. My daughter listens to Olivia Rodrigo and stuff.
But you can draw a line from those bands to her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is Olivia Rodrigo essentially sounds like a female-led, less caustic alkaline trio.
It's good.
And then I think someone told me that they had like a producer in common or something. I like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Her show was really fun. Hardy went.
Yeah. It was a good show.
If you ever saw A Boogie with the Hoodie, then you would know really phoning it in an arena show.
Dancing around to a recording of
To
his
his own
songs.
record.
When I say A Boogie with the Hoodie was dancing around to his own music, when I tell you they were playing his music like off the internet with vocals while he danced around. Now, the mic was live, but he danced around. Do you know how when people play arenas, you go, like, I wonder how much the stage set cost? I can tell you how much his cost. Nothing.
Yeah.
It was everything was already there.
Because they have a stage there, and they said, yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like whatever you want to put up there.
That's it.
It would be like the guy playing first at the US Festival. Like the guy playing at 11 in the morning. It's like Sha-Na-Na at Woodstock.
3 sets of gear behind him backstage.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. It was like, this is the headliner.
If he had drums, they would have been pushed to the very front because all the important drums were set up
They're all
behind him.
upstage,
But there were no drums. There were no live instruments.
No. And if there were, they were not being played live. There you go. So A Boogie with the Hoodie, I got to give him credit. He probably went, this is the only time I'll get to play arenas. Let's make as much money as possible.
We're not
the
gonna...
overhead will be zero.
Right.
We will have zero overhead.